and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning. Herschel Walker confirmed to be the new U.S. ambassador to the Bahamas, the first in over a decade. The Public Hospitals Authority confirming air conditioning and food concerns with Princess Margaret Hospital. And we are talking about scams that you need to be aware of during this World Investor Week and always. That's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
It's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Wednesday, October 8th, 2025. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Chester Robards is off today. Also this morning, we are talking with the Bahamas Humane Society, a monthly series with them. We are getting an update on the Wash Your Paws campaign we told you about a few weeks back. The very latest on that. That's all ahead, but first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, Herschel Walker confirmed as the United States ambassador to the Bahamas, the first in over a decade. He and more than 100 other nominees were confirmed in a single Senate vote due to a change in the rules that allowed for the quicker confirmation of U.S. President Donald Trump's nominees. Prime Minister Philip Davis saying yesterday that he looks forward to working with Walker. The Prime Minister saying, quote, "We welcome Ambassador Walker and look forward to continuing our close and constructive partnership with the United States, grounded in friendship, mutual respect, and shared commitment to the progress of our peoples." Walker, a former NFL player, unsuccessfully ran for a seat in Georgia's Senate in 2022, in the Senate for Georgia. U.S. President Donald Trump named Walker as his pick for U.S. ambassador to the Bahamas in December 2024. At the time of the nomination, Trump described Walker as a successful businessman, philanthropist, former Heisman Trophy winner, NFL great, and a tireless advocate for youth sports. As we've been hearing for a while now, the kitchen at Princess Margaret Hospital has been out of commission since August 2024. The Ministry of Health confirming this, and yesterday, Public Hospitals Authority Managing Director Abinette Rolls said a contingency plan was in place during the recent tropical storm Imelda to ensure meals were available at the facility. Rolls said that during the storm, the hospital had a full stock of food items, including non-perishables, preventing the need to transport food from the University of the Bahamas, which provides the food service to the hospital in the absence of a functional kitchen. The PHA also responding to issues involving the air conditioning system at the hospital, while a social media post yesterday claimed an infant surgery is being delayed because of air conditioning challenges in the operating theaters. The PHA says there's been no canceled emergency surgical procedures as a result of the issue. A mother sent her concerns to be posted to social media anonymously, claiming that her baby, who has been in PMH's neonatal intensive care unit for the past 2 months, was scheduled for a life-saving surgery, which was delayed. She claimed that the surgery had to be canceled because of the air conditioning issues. She said the delay is not the first they have experienced at the hospital, noting numerous postponements. PHA, meanwhile, acknowledged the social media post but claimed it is not accurate, saying, quote, management advises that it has not received any reports of emergency surgical procedures being canceled as a result of technical challenges, including air conditioning, which are actively being addressed in the affected areas. But to ensure uninterrupted emergency surgical care, we have liaised with our partner, who has agreed and provided access to theater space when necessary. And PHA Managing Director Roll saying that following numerous delays, renovations to the Accident and Emergency Department should be completed by the end of this year. Roll said officials are only waiting on the arrival of a direct expansion cooling system to conclude the renovations. The Court of Appeal resentencing a woman who set up her boyfriend to be robbed to 7.5 years in prison. On May 26, 2016, Raquel Johnson lured ZNS radio announcer Scott Richards to Bonefish Pond, where they had sex on the boardwalk. Johnson knew that Richard Bevins was coming there to rob Richards, who was shot and killed during the holdup. In July 2022, Johnson was found guilty of Richards' murder and armed robbery and sentenced to 28 years and 10 years respectively. However, the Court of Appeal overturned the convictions earlier this year and substituted the armed robbery charge with one of robbery. Johnson's lawyer, Nathan Smith, argued that a sentence of 8 years was appropriate. He said that Johnson had received 10 years for armed robbery, and now that she was convicted of the lesser serious crime of robbery, she was entitled to less time. Prosecutors Terry Archer suggested a sentence between 12 and 14 years. He said Johnson committed such breach of trust by luring her boyfriend to an isolated area, knowing that he would be robbed. He said Johnson caused police to arrest her former boyfriend when she falsely claimed she was the robber and shooter. When she falsely claimed he was the robber and shooter. Giving the court's decision, Justice of Appeal Indra Charles said the offense carried a maximum of 14 years. Charles said the only mitigating factor in Johnson's favor was that she had no prior convictions. She said Johnson was a willing participant to the crime and had committed a breach of trust. Charles said 10 years was an appropriate sentence. After taking into account the time spent on remand, the sentence was reduced to 7.5 years. And a 37-year-old man pleaded guilty to the lesser charge of manslaughter on the day his murder trial was supposed to start for a 2017 stabbing death. Stephen Burrows was charged in the August 13, 2017 death of Ricardo Frazier. Prosecutors say that an argument between both men turned deadly. The incident happened in Munson Village in New Providence. Justice Neil Brathwaite sentenced Burrows to 12 years in prison in accordance with the plea deal. Following his release from prison, Burrows will be placed on probation for 1 year. Failure to keep the peace during this period would result in an additional year in prison. And Social Services Minister Miles Rhoda says that the Protection Against Violence Commission will be established before the 2026 general election. Nearly 2 years ago, the Protection Against Violence Act was passed. However, the commission was never established. Recently, Bahamas Crisis Center Executive Director Dr. Sandradine Patterson called on the government to prioritize the establishment of the commission because it would play a critical role in drawing attention to statistics as it relates to violence against women and girls in the Bahamas. When asked if the commission would be established before the election, Lorota said that he expected it would be so. That act provides the protection and support of victims of violence through the creation of a national strategy to prevent and respond to the occurrence of violence and to protect victims of violence. Overseas, Russia seriously damaging one of Ukraine's thermal power plants in an overnight attack as Moscow pursued its campaign to deny Ukrainians heat, light, and running water as winter approaches. 2 workers were injured in the attack. according to Ukraine's biggest electricity operator. Ukrainian authorities releasing few details about the routine Russian attacks on its power grid so as not to give away intelligence to the enemy. Repair crews are working around the clock to undo the damage. The energy sector has been a key battleground since Russia launched its all-out invasion of its neighbor more than 3 years ago. Each year, Russia has tried to cripple the Ukrainian power grid ahead of the bitter winter, hoping to erode public morale and disrupt military manufacturing. Ukraine has accused Moscow of weaponizing winter. And Israel and Hamas entering a third day of peace talks at an Egyptian resort today, with more senior officials from the United States, Israel, and mediating countries expected to join in. A sign that negotiators aim to tackle the toughest issues of an American plan to end the war in Gaza. Hamas says it is seeking firm guarantees from U.S. President Donald Trump and mediators that Israel will not resume its military campaign in the Palestinian territory after the militant group releases all the remaining hostages. All sides have expressed optimism for a deal to end the 2-year war, with tens of thousands of Palestinians killed and most of the Gaza Strip destroyed. But key parts of the peace plan have still not been pinned down, including requirements that Hamas disarm, the timing and extent of an Israeli troop withdrawal from Gaza, and the creation of an international body to run Gaza after Hamas steps down from power. Qatar's prime minister and top diplomat heading to the Egyptian coastal city of Sharm el-Sheikh to join the talks. Also expected today were Trump's Meathoff and the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, according to a U.S. official who was not authorized to talk to reporters. From Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's top advisor, Ron Dermer, was also to join, according to an Israeli official. In sports, the National Flight Services Ballers giving the police Crime Stoppers a taste of their own meds and dethroning the champions 77-74 in Game 7 of the 2025 Bahamas Government Departmental Basketball Association Finals. The Ballers, who competed in their second season in the league, overcoming an 0-2 start in this year's championship series, avenged last year's 4-0 final sweep suffered at the hands of the Crime Stoppers. They won 4 of the last 5 games in the series to take the title. The team replaced the bitter feeling of last year's finals loss with a sweet taste of victory thanks to a 4-3 triumph in this year's finals. Read all about that in today's Guardian Sports section. And the She Is 1000 golf event is returning for part 2 of the golf series this Saturday at the Bahamas Golf Federation's 9-hole golf course at the Blue Hills Sporting Complex. This Saturday's event is special as it's projected to bring out up to 800 girls and women to collectively celebrate International Day of the Girl Child. Additionally, the event has drawn support from students at schools in New Providence and various family islands. Read about it in today's Guardian Sports section. From Major League Baseball, a thrilling night in New York last night when the New York Yankees needed someone to save them. Aaron Judge practically put on a cape. In a do-it-all effort for the ages, Judge hit a tying homer and drove in 4 runs as the Yankees staved off elimination by rallying past the Toronto Blue Jays 9-6 in Game 3 of the American League Division Series. Judge went 3 for 4 with an intentional walk and scored 3 times, also making pivotal plays with his glove and legs as Yankee Stadium fans chanted MVP, MVP, Down by 5 early, New York scored 8 unanswered runs to prevent a 3-game sweep and pushed the best-of-5 playoff series to Game 4. Judge is 7 for 11 in this series with 5 RBIs and 3 walks. Jazz Chisholm launched a go-ahead solo homer in the 5th, and New York improved to 3-0 in elimination games during these playoffs, and the franchise's largest comeback ever in those situations. From the NFL, the league saying Tuesday it has fined Jerry Jones $250,000 for an obscene gesture towards fans at MetLife Stadium that the Dallas owner said was inadvertent and intended for fans of the Cowboys, not for the New York Jets. The incident coming late in Dallas's 37-22 Sunday. Jones said on his radio show Tuesday he intended to flash a thumbs up for celebrating Cowboy fans, but he accidentally gave the Jets fans the middle finger. Jones's gesture coming soon after Dak Prescott's 4th touchdown pass gave the Cowboys a 37-14 lead with 4:31 left in the game. Jones saying, quote, "There wasn't any antagonistic issue or anything like that. I just put up the wrong show on the hand. That was inadvertently done. I'm not kidding. If you want to call it accidental, you can call it accidental, but it got straightened around pretty quick. I had a chance to look at it. It got straightened out pretty quick, but the intention was thumbs up." I'm sure that happens. And a 69-year-old truck driver who was seriously injured in a fight that prosecutors say was started by former NFL quarterback and sports analyst Mark Sanchez is suing Sanchez and his employer, Fox Corporation, in Indiana State Court. Lawyers for Perry Toll filing the lawsuit Monday seeking an unspecified amount in actual and punitive damages as well as attorney's fees. The lawsuit accuses Sanchez of instigating a fight with Toll Saturday night outside a downtown Indianapolis hotel, leading to severe permanent disfigurement, loss of function, and other injuries and emotional distress. Toll also stabbed Sanchez several times in the fight. A picture of Toll circulating online shows him with a neck brace on the hospital bed, covered in blood with a deep slash to the side of his face. In an email, Fox Sports declined to comment on the suit. Attorneys representing Sanchez in his criminal case also declined to comment on the lawsuit. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we are discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
It's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
This October, Bahamas invites you to indulge your senses at the Culinary and Arts Festival, where world-class flavors meet breathtaking creativity in the heart of the Bahamas. Join us October 22nd through 26th for an unforgettable celebration featuring culinary legends Marcus Samuelson, Dario Zucchini, Simeon Hall Jr., and Scott Conant, alongside a vibrant lineup of chefs and mixologists. Explore captivating art installations, interactive workshops, and live performances, all set against the stunning backdrop of Nassau's premier luxury resort. From curated tasting events to beachfront feasts and immersive gallery experiences, this is more than a festival. It's a feast for the soul. Tickets and packages are going fast. Visit Bahamar.com to reserve your spot at the Culinary and Arts Festival at Bahamar, where taste and talent take center stage.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Looking to elevate your gadget game, or are tech troubles simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows, or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Cades Village, or call 396-1100. Your solution for rising gas prices and expensive car maintenance has landed. Brand new 2026 electric vehicles from BYD have arrived at Easy Car Sales. Imagine no more gas and major savings on maintenance. Test drive a BYD EV today and save thousands with the car that redefines driving. Visit easy242.com for our 3 locations, in-house financing, and more. Easy Car Sales, the only authorized BYD dealer and warranty provider in the Bahamas.
Are you searching for something new? Something exciting? Your dream job in paradise? Well, look no further. Royal Beach Club Paradise Island is hiring. Join a dynamic group of passionate hospitality professionals, craft unforgettable moments, and thrive in a vibrant, welcoming atmosphere. Play your part in shaping the future of our team while growing your own career every day. Bring your energy, your passion, and your creativity to a workplace that's as dynamic and fun as you are. At Royal Beach Club Paradise Island, the opportunities don't just exist. They're limitless. So are you ready to find your perfect fit? Visit Royal Beach Club at paradiseisland.com/career today and step into a world of exciting possibilities.
Craving something with bold flavors? Introducing the new Bacon Portobello Mushroom Melt only at Wendy's. Enjoy our hot, juicy beef stacked with crispy applewood smoked bacon, savory sauteed portobello mushrooms, and drenched in our rich, melty cheddar cheese sauce, all on a warm, toasted bun. Gotta be craveable, gotta be Wendy's. Available for a limited time only.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
R. Bailey 85 Pacers, where you at? It's all about the stay code this Discovery Weekend, Saturday, October 11th, from 12 midday to 5 p.m.
R. Bailey Park, our very own Canterbury team. Steak off the grill, chicken off the grill, mouth-watering fried fish. Tickets are only $20. In the starter corner, Conky Conk fritters, chicken wings, and cheesy macaroni. In the dessert corner, pound cake, delicious chocolate cake, and carrot cake, all on sale. Get tickets for the entire family. Part proceeds will aid classmates' medical fund and rehabilitative care. Music by DJ Marcy. Don't meet me there. Meet me there on October 11th at 12 midday to 5 p.m. R. Bailey Park. Class of 85 Steakhouse.
I will always help him out. If my brother's in trouble, I will turn the world around. I will fight for his right.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong with you on this Wednesday morning. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 969, and BTC Flow, Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio app. Text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strawn. Chester Robards is off today. He'll be with us later in the week. Coming up this morning, a lot to talk about. We are going to be talking with the Securities Commission of the Bahamas. It is World Investor Week. We told you about that last week. But the Securities Commission wants you to know about all the scams that are out there, people trying to get your money through some very convincing means. What to look out for. We'll get details on that this morning. Later, we'll be talking with the Bahamas Humane Society. They told us about their Wash Your Paws campaign. That's mainly for humans, but they're using pets to help you to remember that cleanliness is very important. So we're going to get into that, get an update on how that campaign is going right now. That's all ahead. But again, there's a lot to talk about right now in the news. In the news, the big headlines in the papers, Walker confirmed Herschel Walker to be the first U.S. ambassador to the Bahamas in over a decade, since 2011. We're going to get into that in just a bit. That is, finally, some will say. We want to get your reaction to that. But there are a couple of other stories in the news I really want to talk about. The hospital, the explanations for what folks have been telling us for a long time about the kitchen there not being operational and air conditioning issues, other challenges, what the PHA is saying about that. We'll talk about that in a moment as well. There's some court cases that really are blowing my mind, as always. Want to get to that. But there's something here in the Tribune I want to talk about really quickly. This is National Security Minister Wayne Monroe saying that authorities need to build better mousetrap after recent escape. Remember the accused murderer who escaped last week from court? Has he been caught? I'm not hearing whether he has. Let's see if this story gives us any details on that. Well, National Security Minister Wayne Monroe says authorities must study how a murder suspect managed to slip away from the magistrate's court last Thursday and must tighten security to ensure it never happens again, comparing the process to, quote, building a better mousetrap. Monroe said he had not been briefed on the full details of the escape of 34-year-old D'Angelo Culmer, who has been on the run for nearly a week. So he's still not found. Wow, okay. He's still out there. But he said closed-circuit cameras in the court's holding area should reveal exactly how the incident unfolded. So we still haven't looked at it yet? It's been almost a week. This is Monroe saying, quote, I remember when we used to do the Bank Lane Shuffle, a young girl threw a fella a gun and he shot his way out of custody. I remember when a fella drove through the downstairs Supreme Court window and made his escape for a brief time. You continue to improve the mousetrap. He said the police should be reviewing the video footage, or they should be, yes, well, questioning those on duty and preparing a full security brief to determine whether the escape resulted from negligence or collusion. Again, I'm asking, this hasn't happened as yet, or is he just saying that that's what he is expecting has been done? What's going on? He said, quote, you always have to look and see why this happened, why this was able to happen, to put systems in place to make sure it cannot happen again. If it happened with complicity of individuals, you hold them to account. Yeah, indeed. Culmer escaped around 3:30 p.m. on October 3rd, it's practically November now, from the South Street complex wearing a blue T-shirt and light blue jeans. Police said he had tattoos of lips on his neck and the name Tiffany on his right chest, although I think another article said it was a different name. But anyway, it's a woman's name on his right chest, if you happen to see him half naked. He had been remanded to prison in February, accused of killing 39-year-old Rudiska Bethel in a drive-by shooting on Ragged Island Street on January 31st. At the time of the incident, Culmer was already on bail for attempted murder. Well, look at that. Monroe noted that people who remain at large often rely on outside help and urged the public not to assist or shield the fugitive, saying, quote, when you escape, it's an automatic 2 years. To stay at large, you need assistance, you need money, people to help you, or people not to call the police when they see you. The public's encouraged not to do either of those things. That's a quote. He added that if Culmer's escape is gang-related, the escapee could be in danger himself. 34. We got 34-year-olds still in gangs, yes? Yeah? Quote, he's charged with murder. If it's one of those murders that's gang-related, people may pose a threat to him as well. And the public, of course, should not be in the company of people who people are trying to kill. So if this is gang-related, more than the police may be looking for him. Who do you think will have the better odds in finding him? Police have released no new information about the fugitive's whereabouts and said they are still investigating how he got away. Culmer's escape marks one of the longest lapses between an inmate's flight from custody and recapture in recent years. In 2022, a 25-year-old man who fled the same court complex was caught within 2 days. Wow. Well, isn't that something? Okay. What do you make of it, folks? It's a small island when certain things happen, but really big, huge, continental-sized when other things happen. What's going on here? Give us a call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll-free, 242-300-5720. Do you think the police have looked at the CCTV footage yet? Do you think they've questioned anybody? It's hard to find out. People are saying, I think they caught him. No, apparently they've not. A week now almost. And odd. Remember the story we told you a couple of weeks ago? The guy was it, almost 10 years since he skipped bail? Right here in Nassau. Caller, what say you? Good morning. You're on the air.
And cousin Dwight, how you doing?
I'm a little stressed.
Grammy boy, here. Let me tell you something, Dwight. This country, we might as well take our heads off the sand and face it, Dwight. We're running a fastly failing country in every aspect. Now, Wayne Monroe ain't my favorite cup of tea because a lot of utterances and things that he has implemented while in his tenure in his office have embarrassed and failed. It wasn't Wayne Monroe that said years ago when a little girl was done, but she could technically give our consent. Wasn't it Wayne Monroe that after the I think one of the high-profile cases with the person, former parliamentarian, with shackles on, say, oh, we don't need to do that anymore, and stuff like that. So what in the world is he talking about this morning?
Those are two very different examples.
He implemented.
I got to say one thing, though. The former thing, the first one you mentioned, I mean, people were really taking that out of context, right? He wasn't endorsing children giving consent. It wasn't that. It was, he was saying basically no matter what they say, they cannot give consent in the eyes of the law.
That ain't what I remember.
That's what he meant. Now, people didn't understand what he meant and have taken it out of context.
I don't want to stay there, Dwight. I really don't, but we
you
are
brought it up.
A fair state. And they blaming other people for stuff what they doing. You understand? What they relaxing the rules, they blaming us. You understand now? I know.
Well, I mean, in this one, I don't think he's wrong, but I would have hoped that by Friday, all of that would have been done, right? That you would have gone through the CCTV, you would have questioned everybody who's on duty. You cannot, right? He's not saying whether it has happened or not, but he's saying that's what needs to happen, which is concerning.
I don't remember. I don't know if anybody could call in and confirm. I don't remember no young lady throwing no gun to no prisoner.
No, I do. I think I remember that.
You're shackled. I can catch a gun if he's shackled.
You'd be surprised. But
you understand?
No, I think that one, I do remember that. I don't remember the one with the guy driving through the court. That's a real movie. It's some Michael Bay type stuff. I don't know. But I think I do remember the gun thing.
Right? These politicians don't care. Right? You know my condition. I've been sounding the alarm now for years.
Yeah.
And giving evidence and everything to these people. Now, I'm not saying it's the low-level staff, and I know they're jumping your gun at Princess Margaret Hospital. No, a lot of them care. But the politicians are tying their hands.
Yeah.
But man, that hospital is a mess.
So you know what? We're going to get to PMH in a minute, but you're right, because you've been calling for months about this, right?
Months about everything.
The only person who confirms these things is Dwayne Sands, who is in the opposition and the F&M chairman. But this is the first time anybody officially has stated that I think that the kitchen has not been in operation.
As a matter of
very
fact,
disturbing.
Right, I was the one that was instrumental in writing the letter to Ms. Auburn Road to close that kitchen. I was the one, GNN. You understand? That kitchen was horrible. That place is horrible.
So is it better closed than open?
It was make it worse. The food was a little bit better when it was there being performed.
What was so horrible about it when it was open?
Pardon me?
What was so horrible about it when it was open?
Rats, sewer, you name it, all them stuff. But they've been sweeping under the rug for years. That's why they had to immediately close it down. You see? And now that they got it elsewhere, the food comes cold. You know what I mean? There's no variety anymore. It's worse. And nobody seems to care. I spoke to Dr. Dowell for 2 years straight. I got his number from Parliament. I made Mr. Dowell aware of everything pertaining to our section, pictures, recordings, everything. You think Mr. Dowell, the only thing Mr. Dowell tell us is we can move y'all somewhere down the road there. But when we spoke to the guys that was doing the actual work, they said they don't know what Dowell I'm talking about. Dwight is bad. It's bad, Dwight. People are dying, Miss Rule. People are dying. It's like they don't care, Dwight.
Yeah. All right, we're going to get to that in a bit. Thank you for calling in. Appreciate it.
All
I
right.
hope you continue to, do it. So sorry. Wow. Let's take another call. We'll get to the PHA story in just a second, though. But good morning. You're on the air. Are you there? Hi, good morning. Let's take the other one. Good morning, caller. You're live on the air. We having issues with that line. We got to check that one. Is everything good with that one? Yeah? Okay. Caller, you are on the air. Good morning. Hi.
Yes, Mr. Dwight Strachan.
Hi. Are you there? No? Okay. So again, we hope that the minister is not just telling people for the first time what needs to be done. Hopefully they knew this, the police were talking about, and this escape suspect. And we hope they get to building that mousetrap as quickly as possible. Okay, we'll get back to the calls in a bit. So let's get to the PHA story. So the director is saying there are no concerns about food at PMH. Well, this is not what we were concerned about, not what happened during the storm. We're concerned about what's going on with the food with the hospital in general all the time. Our Caitlin Babb writing about this. The kitchen at Princess Margaret Hospital has been out of operation since August 2024. Wow. The Minister of Health recently confirmed, and yesterday, Public Hospitals Authority Managing Director Abinant Roll said a contingency plan was in place during the recent tropical storm Imelda, to ensure meals were available at the facility. Roll said that during the storm, the hospital had a full stock of food items, including non-perishables, preventing the need to transport food from the University of the Bahamas, which currently provides the food to the hospital in the absence of a functional kitchen. The University of the Bahamas, right here on University Drive, and the Princess Margaret Hospital on Shirley Street. That is an interesting drive. Okay. Roll telling reporters, quote, contingency was always in place. We always work with having a plan. Being somebody who has worked as an incident commander during hurricanes, the expectation is that everybody is enclosed. Okay, the hurricane thing. Let's talk about why the kitchen is still closed more than a year. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Michael Darville, told the Nassau Guardian on September 18th he hopes the kitchen is renovated before the election bell rings. Yes, before the election. Saying, quote, the PMH kitchen is out of commission. My quantity surveyor is now finalizing the scope of work because at the midterm budget, we approved $75 million, which incorporates funding the kitchen at the Princess Margaret Hospital, the Legacy Ward, which is inclusive of the basement, the eye ward, and the eye theater, the adolescent unit, and incorporated in that is funding for the Freeport Health Campus. And so we are in the process of receiving the drawdowns. Once the drawdowns are completed by the way of CIBC funding, you will begin to see the work being done at the kitchen. Hopefully before the election bell rings. Yes, that's very important. So there's more air conditioning issues. While a social media post yesterday claimed an infant surgery is being delayed because of air conditioning challenges at PMH, the PHA, the Public Hospitals Authority, says there's been no canceled emergency surgical procedures as a result of the issue. So mother sent her concerns to be posted to social media anonymously, claiming that her baby, who has been in the NICU for the past 2 months, was scheduled for life-saving surgery, but it was delayed. PHA, though, saying that it's not aware of this. It did acknowledge the social media post, but claimed it's not accurate, saying, quote, management advises that it has not received any reports of emergency surgical procedures being canceled as a result of technical challenges, including air conditioning, which are actively being addressed in the affected areas. However, to ensure uninterrupted emergency surgical care, we have liaised with our partner, who has agreed and provided access to theater space when necessary. It is important to emphasize that delays in surgical procedures may occur for various reasons, including a patient's clinical readiness at the time, and are not always attributable to technical factors, even when such challenges may exist concurrently. Now, back to the mother. She had said that there was an urgent need for accountability and immediate action to ensure that babies and families in the Bahamas do not have to suffer due to preventable system failures. F&M Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands, a former Minister of Health, said yesterday that several factors, not only air conditioning troubles, have been reducing surgical capacity at PMH. He said, quote, the situation is more nuanced and systemic. Excuse me. Surgical capacity is down at PMH for multiple reasons. That, combined with staffing concerns, equipment, maintenance issues, etc., and there is a perfect storm. Wow. Oh, boy. And lots of people have been complaining about the A&E section not being completed. Well, the managing director of the PHA operative role saying yesterday that she's hopeful that the works will be completed by the end of this year, 2026. She says officials are only waiting on the arrival of a direct expansion cooling system to conclude the renovations. So a whole lot, folks. What do you make of it? 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, toll free 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Let's go back to the phone lines. Callers, it's a lot to process. What do you say?
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing well.
I was holding from the other thing, but first of all, Wayne Monroe is always a wealth of useless information.
Oh, dear.
That everyone already knows. He always points at the loopholes. He always points at the problems. But we already know all these things. His job was to go in there and try to fix the problems. So clearly, he doesn't understand the job description he was given. But, that's a whole other story.
Well, I mean, maybe he's, doing that by putting a fire under the police, because that should have happened by now. Maybe it hasn't. Why they've been very quiet about this.
Is this fire a slow ember? How long he been in office?
Well, I mean,
Okay, now, but in terms of the hospital, right? Everyone knows the hospital lousy, and the hospital, like in Trump words, is a hit hole, right? And it seems like it doesn't really. Every time a minister comes out of office, he can point out every single thing that's wrong with the hospital. But why doesn't he try and fix the problem while he's in office?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's like a mystery to me. And then this thing about they're going to try and fix something before the next election. Is this a minister, former minister, saying, oh, give me another 5 years and I'll fix the things I promised to fix in the... What bothers me the most?
I think he was giving you a timeline, so you know that's when it'll be done. Not necessarily that we're aiming for the election.
Has the new hospital started yet?
It depends on what you mean by start. But they're doing are they done with the surveying? But no, they haven't.
Okay, my friend had a big argument because my friend is a PLP, right? And I told them that they promised the hospital will never be built. And he robbed me and he said, oh, I don't know how hospital we built. You ain't give him a chance. I said, listen.
Well, I think he's right. You're being very negative. Why are you being so negative?
It hasn't been built yet. Or hasn't started being built yet.
It takes time. The land has to be prepared, and that's going to be some work.
Okay, something is always on order. Something is always supposed. That's like when Pinewood, and he said when he's knee deep in water, and he said, oh, they're going to have to assess the problem and then work on the solution. I'm like, what the hell? Pinewood been flooding before I was born. So how you don't know Pinewood is flood?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, I'm so tired of blaming people just sitting back and letting these politicians just say and do whatever they want, blow smoke up their rear end, and you have a selection of people who benefit from how politics is and how things is in the gravy train, as we call it, the cookie jar, and they sing the praises of the government. You ask them if anything's wrong, they say, oh, nothing's wrong, the government is doing everything right. And we all know everything is the same and nothing is fixing and nothing is changing.
Well, to be fair, so it seems like with the hospital, it seems like, as you've heard, it's very complicated. There are a lot of issues. There's a lot going on. It's a very old facility, and it takes time to get these things addressed. So I think the ministers have been trying. It just is so complex and complicated that it's like you got to untangle the knot.
Listen, I agree with you, but you have to understand, these people who are put in place of Minister of Health, these men worked in the hospital for years.
Yeah, well, that doesn't...
They know the problem before they even get in there.
Sure, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be like a miracle worker, right? And
at least do some work. We don't expect a miracle worker, but for God's sake, you can't get a working kitchen?
I don't understand that one. I can understand the other technical issues, but the kitchen one, I really need
someone couldn't tell you transporting food from UB to PMH is a long distance, and with traffic and whatever, it'll be hard to keep the food. Come on.
Mm-hmm. And this is why they're talking about it.
Idea to even get a mobile truck to park by PMH and prepare the food from a mobile facility until the proper facility is fixed.
I mean...
So it'll be on site?
Well, that for the whole hospital, you're going to need several trucks. But I hear you. That's probably better than...
but they could even build a temporary facility.
Well, if they're going to go through all that trouble, you might as well just fix a hospital. But I mean, fix a kitchen, right? But
it's too complex to fix.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's like it's a merry-go-round they're on, and people have been saying the kitchen has been having problems for years. Now they're saying they put it in the budget, and they're going to see if something can be started by the end of the year. It's like that's another 2 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's
frustrating. I hear the frustration. It is frustrating for all of us. Thank you so much for calling in. Yeah, I don't know. I wish they would tell us exactly what is the issue with the kitchen specifically. Come on and say it. And I don't know. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Hi, good morning. Hi, we can hear you. Good morning. You're live. Are you there? 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. We'll get your text messages in just a bit. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Strachan.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, thank God for GNN, now until then. Now, Mr. Strachan, it's hard to avoid calling. And, I love the word relentless and importunate, right? Because you have to be like that to the point of annoyance in an era of information overload, whereby, for me, when I take a break, I'll be in the grave. Now, I don't want to say you're being somewhat insensitive, but sometimes you have to realize people are going through medical conditions whilst you and I are not, right? We're looking at compounding factors, the socioeconomic fallout of the migration crisis, right? For instance, Mr. Strachan, we're looking at the kitchen, et cetera, et cetera. I worked in maintenance and engineering. And so, as a shift engineer, so I had more than one trade. The maintenance is designed to do just avoid what is going on at the Princess Margaret Hospital. And so they have chiller systems, right, which is basically the air conditioning system from the root system, right, the heart of the air conditioning system. So you're supposed to have a backup systems in place. Your backup flow systems in order to isolate one in case you have a problem with the pipe. You isolate that one, and then you allow a certain refrigerant, the cool water, the refrigerant water to flow. And so, for me, what I'm saying is this is years of neglect. The health care system has actually gotten worse. So you're building a new hospital, but the existing one is in a dilemma. And then, for me, it's really unacceptable because, for example, I went to the clinic just now. I didn't know they changed the policy where if you wanted to see the dentist or get a teeth extracted, et cetera, you have to make an appointment now, which is a disappointment. I knew you go there early, you pick a number, and you see the dentist. Now it's where you have to make an appointment. I'm a senior citizen, Mr. Strong. I'm 61 years old. Now I'm just finding out that you can go to Stanley's and do this and do that. What I'm saying is, a week, man, Mr. Strong, we need some, all right, like for instance, I asked a question the other day. Was the police officer who somebody thought committed that atrocity against the young lady, et cetera, is he still on the force? Some things the public needs to know. All of these things entail freedom of information, not just listening to politicians. Sometimes you have to compose yourself with a degree of anger. But let me give you an example. Look how long GNN and other people was calling these talk shows and making certain revelations. So everybody dismiss.
No.
Dismissal will be our downfall because, I'll give you an example. During the pandemic, I was following the science, and I said the vaccines couldn't work. But yet still, you'll have people that they come on this radio and say they work. But yet still, people still having breakthrough cases and having COVID over and over, and people admitting that they're catching it more and more since they've had the pandemic to virally immune escape. So what I'm saying is, no one can gaslight me. So people who are smart, who are outsmarted, I can't respect them. We must learn to listen to one another. Why is it GNN be calling, making these accusations or these revelations? Why would people be calling these shows, making these revelations? We must stop dismissing and go and investigate and then make a decision. Otherwise, and as it relates to negative and positive, Mr. Strawn, being positive all the time and being negative all the time is not good. So there's in philosophy there's negativity of weakness and negativity of strength, and likewise with positivity. So, I mean, which is it? We are fighting a losing battle. We all been hurting like cattle. Everything is deteriorating, and people are still idolizing and beating on the desk while the country's in a mess, and people shouting jobless. Mr. Swan, you know something? We need to listen to one another. That's our problem. It's a curse upon us.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't think anybody was dismissing anybody who was making the claims. It's just very hard to verify, and folks will only answer when they are ready, it seems. Right? And you could ask and you could try to get answers out of them and all manner of deflecting and dancing around the subject. It's very challenging in this environment. If you want to see how challenging it is, you do something and let a reporter come and ask you a question about it, and you'll see what happens. You know exactly what you would do, unfortunately. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
I'm right here. How are you?
Right here, my brother. It's always good to follow 52. And 52 and I can attest to working together for many decades, especially in the hospitality industry and in the engineering departments of a few hotels. One thing we have learned, you could build whatever it is you want to build in this country, but if you don't have a robust, what we call preventative maintenance program in place, things are going to break down much sooner than later. We can build whatever we want to build, but if the requirement for us having the adequate persons skilled and knowledgeable about the product that they're working in, then we're going to continue getting what we get. The biggest thing that we have in this country right now is maintenance. We do not have a robust, it appears then, let me be sensitive here, it appears that we don't have any preventive maintenance or maintenance schedules for anything in this country as it pertains to the people's properties. And that is government offices, that is the hospital, and we could go down the line. I think time should come when as the persons working in these areas, especially in the engineering departments, most of the infrastructure that they have to work in, as we did in the hotel, we understood if something happened, we knew automatically the starting basis of resolving the issues. And we cannot continue to allow our infrastructure to keep falling to the level that they are today. Yes, PMH is our old hospital. But I'm pretty sure with all of these monies that have been spent to bring about the new A&E, here's the question. We want to bring in the instruments and stuff for A&E. Where are our trained specialists who are going to maintain these equipment when they arrive? How they're going to clean them? How they're going to maintain them? Is there a routine preventive maintenance schedule where every 3 months or 6 months, because we know this particular part is going to go bad? Is there a program in place? We have to start being proactive instead of reactive. And this is what we wait for in this country. So my closing remarks is simply this. We must now begin, these people who bring in the equipment into this country, we now have to put a couple of people in the shadows, a couple of people in the wings, and start to get them accustomed to what is going to happen with this equipment once it is engaged. And hit BTVI and hit UB in these different professions and start to train our people to the level that we expect to do here in the 21st century. That's all I'm going to say on this morning. Preventative maintenance. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for taking my call.
Okay, appreciate it. Let's take one more call before we get to your text messages. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight Strachan. How are you this morning?
Doing well. Good morning.
Well, I think I'm qualified to speak to a bit about this. I worked assisting the chief engineer at a major hotel in that department, being responsible for ordering all the parts necessary. And I worked along with all of the engineers, so I learned a little about everything. But there was a program that I was able to implement in the hotel that made sense. And you know what it was called? Preventative maintenance. Not maintenance like other people are talking about. Every day you just go and fix when something goes bad. You prevent the maintenance, which means you take the temperature of the motors that's servicing the pumps, and you record that temperature, because if that temperature rises above a certain level, then the windings in the motor may be at risk of failing. Bearings, you change them before they go bad. This is where we are not, and this is where we need to get. And it's unfortunate that the people who are running this government and country don't see the value in preventing maintenance. Because when you look at the preventative aspects of it, you don't have what we are dealing with today, and I've been dealing with for years. So I just want to speak to preventing maintenance. You see these ships that come into the harbor? These ships, they change the parts in engineering before the part goes, because they know the part has a service life. Why aren't we, and we could address this in every aspect in our government running, Prevent the maintenance from becoming an issue to deal with. What do you say about that, Dwight?
Sounds very good. Sounds very good. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, on text messages, this person says here, okay. This person says here, trust me on this. That was just the minister feeling compelled to make a statement. The commissioner has already implemented an internal probe, including security footage. He's being harbored by persons. Oh, wow, okay. Was that something I wasn't supposed to read on the air? But hey, well, okay, interesting. Well, this person says here, this person is confirming that there was a prisoner. They even have the name. The lady threw the gun at him. A prisoner also escaped from Central Police Station and somehow ended up in Florida. Bahamians have short memories. Yeah, it's happening a lot. It happens a lot. No, we can't read that one, but they don't have much faith in officials. Let's just put it like that. If you are going to PMH, just ensure that your affairs are in order. Well, even if you're going to visit someone, I suspect. At least one police officer or prison officer should be suspended without pay until that prisoner's back in custody. Pray to God you never get sick in this country. Nothing ever works. Hospital, no food or service. Prisoners escaping. Roads full of potholes. A plan is a document that you can send to anybody. They can read it and start from start to finish, even if that finish is 10 years away. They will be able to say, okay, this is reasonable. I see where they are now and how much is left. What they give us is a promise. And we're supposed to give them a chance. Very bad strategy, because we end up exactly where we is. Thank you for that text. Why don't they use the hospital by government house to cook? The what? The who? The hospital by government house. What hospital? House? What? The food for PMH is right across the street, ain't it? Not all the way from UB. And we know that it doesn't take that long to renovate a kitchen compared to building a new hospital. Okay. Yeah, well, I hear you. Completely appreciate the complexity associated with PMH. The building is old. I get that. However, can we deal with the low-hanging fruit? Start with medication. PMH should ensure that basic medications are in the hospital. A family member having to go out to buy prescription meds is far from appropriate. People do it because it's their family, but having prescription meds or something like Tylenol is not a big ask. Wow. We'll pick this up on the other side of the break, and we'll get to the Herschel Walker conversation as well. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're back after the news.
Wake up, it's a new day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Don't shop at Sherwin-Williams then. Don't get the best service in the Bahamas then.
The love is really, really strong in Sherwin-Williams. We don't just sell paint. We service you with a smile, good hearts, mind, soul, and body. And we love our customers as much as we love ourselves.
Yes, real talk.
I'm not just saying this
Real talk.
to impress myself.
We love to go beyond with customer service. So they feel delighted to come in Sherwin-Williams because they know I can either see Dee Dee, or I can see Shelly, or one of our other wonderful staff members. We treat our customers with the respect of our boss because there are many paint companies they could choose to go to. No, baby. If they go to some other paint companies, so I gonna get this little thing at the end of the week.
We want to make sure you get that little ting, Shelley. Come visit Shelley and Dee Dee at Sherwin-Williams, Bahamas, and you'll surely find colour in every day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on cable, Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Float Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796 on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC. And now at 8:21, it is time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. Ready to refresh your space? Well, head to your local Sherwin-Williams for premium paint, pro tips, and everyday deals, and make it easy to get started. So here's what's going on. We've got weak high pressure expected to briefly reestablish itself over the country today through early Thursday. That's going to support generally stable conditions, but lingering moisture coupled with a weak mid-level disturbance may trigger a few spotty showers and isolated afternoon thunderstorms. By Friday, a developing low-pressure system near the Florida Straits will gradually drag a cold front, southwards towards the northern Bahamas. This front's expected to bring increased moisture and instability. That's going to bring some unsettled weather across the northern half of the country. That should continue into your National Heroes Day holiday on Monday. Behind that front, expect slightly cooler temperatures for the northern Bahamas, especially during the early mornings and late night hours. Wow. So there remains a rip current risk along all Atlantic and Atlantic exposed shorelines. Beachgoers and small craft operators should exercise caution, but expect conditions to improve beginning today. Your forecast for today: partly cloudy conditions for the northwest and central Bahamas, a mix of sun and clouds for the northern and southeastern islands, turning mostly fair tonight. The northwest and central Bahamas looking at a 30 to 50% chance of showers with thunderstorms today. Only about a 10 to 30% chance for the other parts of the country. This will for today into tonight, but gusty at times for the northern islands with winds. Temperatures today, we're looking at highs generally around 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius, but the heat index will be a factor, making it feel like it's 102 Fahrenheit, 39 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 80 Fahrenheit, 26, 27 Celsius. Into extended outlook for Thursday tomorrow. For the northern half of the country, partly cloudy to cloudy conditions. Slightly better conditions for the southeast Bahamas, partly sunny, turning mostly fair at night. Still a 20 to 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms for the northern half of the country. 10 to 30% chance of showers with possible thunderstorms for the central and southeast Bahamas. By Friday, again, the northern half of the country, cloudy to overcast, partly sunny, though, for the central and southeast Bahamas. Rain chances still elevated up to 50 to 80% chance for the northern and northwest Bahamas. Severe weather possible as that front gets closer to the area. And that's going to hold into Saturday. Cloudy to overcast at first for the northern Bahamas, becoming partly cloudy by the evening. Cloudy to overcast for the remainder of the country, except for the southeast Bahamas, seeing partly sunny conditions. Again, the possibilities for severe weather remains, especially in the early morning hours Saturday. 40 to 60% chance of showers with thunderstorms, but that should fall off by nightfall. Better conditions by Sunday, and a slight cool down, as we said, as that cold front moves through into Monday. If you're ahead of the front, like the central and southeast Bahamas, expect to see a greater chance for showers and thunderstorms until it moves through. That's your morning blend weather check. Weather check also brought to you by Easy Car Sales. Guess what just rolled into the Easy Car Sales lots? Direct from the factory, brand new 2026 fully electric vehicles to fit every lifestyle and budget. Visit easy242.com or drop into any of their 3 locations for a test drive into the future. And it's time for a Morning Blend Traffic Alert, brought to you by RBC. With RBC, your ideas happen here. In your real-time traffic right now, we have a number of hot spots. We've got Miles Butler Highway, northbound heavy traffic for you from Fire Trail all the way up to Tawny Williams-Darling Highway. If you're heading in the northbound lanes there, that's going to pick up again for you once you're north of that roundabout on the way to the Six-Legger roundabout. So from Sports Center Road straight up to the roundabout with JF Kennedy Drive and Farrington Road and New Providence Highway. You're going to see that traffic. Slow-moving southbound traffic on New Providence Highway as well, and eastbound on John F. Kennedy Drive. If you're on New Providence Highway, north of that roundabout, you're going to still see a lot of slow-moving traffic on the way to Saunders Beach and the roundabout with West Bay Street. West Bay Street also congested for you near Nassau Street if you're heading into downtown today. Over on Blue Hill Road, you're going to be seeing lots of slow-moving traffic from about Carmichael straight up to Independence Drive, northbound Independence Drive, backed up westbound for you between the roundabouts at East Street and Blue Hill Road. Prince Charles Drive, the major intersections, heavy traffic for you like Beatrice Avenue and westbound all the way through to Robinson Road, just west of Soldier. Eastern Road, a bit of congestion east and west of Fox Hill Road, straight up to about Johnson Road this morning. Those are your hot spots. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend Traffic Alert. Also brought to you by NUA Insurance. Agents and brokers need cover you can count on? Well, you can buy motor insurance your way. Stop by your nearest branch or visit nuainsurance.com. Simple, secure, and ready when you are.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong with you on this Wednesday morning. All right, so we're getting some details of some reports of industrial action going on in the country. And I noticed it earlier with the weather. We didn't get a weather report today. And the Department of Meteorology has not updated their social media pages, their Facebook page since, 4 days now. So that was the initial sign. And now we're getting reports that teachers are not showing up at some of the public schools, and it looks like something's going on. So keep that in mind. People texting and saying that it doesn't look like their teachers at their kids' schools. And so public servants and teachers, it appears, are trying to reach out to confirm all of this, but definitely it does look like something's happening. So keep that in mind today. It's going to be an interesting one. Definitely reaching out to the presidents of those unions to get more information. But speaking with some other union presidents, and they are basically confirming that this is going on. So stay tuned to the Guardian News Network for more information on what that is all about. Okay, so coming up in a few minutes, we are going to be talking with the Securities Commission of the Bahamas. It is World Investor Week this week, and they're going to be talking about scams. The scams are not easing up, and with AI, they're getting even better, and we're going to get details about that this morning. Later, an update on the Wash Your Paws campaign with the Bahamas Humane Society and the Ministry of Health. A part of that, we're going to get an update on where things stand since that was launched a few weeks back. But we continue to talk about what's in the news. We got a few more of your text messages about a couple issues, and I do want to get to the Herschel Walker confirmation. And there's a court story that is the little hair I have left. It's scratching. I'm scratching it because this is. I just don't understand what's going on. But, okay, so let's read these text messages. This was about PHA and the challenges they're facing, and the National Security Minister talking about the need to find this escaped accused murderer who's been on the run almost a week now, and Wayne Monroe talking about the need to build better mousetraps to prevent these types of escapes from happening. All right, so this text message says, hey, Dwight, we do have a robust maintenance system in the Bahamas for recycling worthless politicians. That's in response to a caller who said that we need preventative maintenance, not just to fix things once they're broken with our infrastructure in the country. Okay, well, if that's how you see it, you know, you got to, right? Only you can prevent forest fires, right? You are the one helping to maintain the recycled politicians because you play a big role in that. So do something about it. This person says here, this new legislation being pushed through by Pia Glover regarding insurance for employers to pay to cover termination pay for employees is devastating. One more tax on businesses, one more nail in the coffin of small companies. Okay, I need to get more information on that. I'm sure we'll talk about it at some point. That's interesting stuff. This person says here, PMH is a Bahamian disgrace and a nightmare. It is obvious that they only cater to gunshot victims because of the money the private consultants and surgeons for those, they have to pay for those services. And also they only cater, I guess was saying, to Haitian women having 2 kids per year on the always gotta drive off the cliff when you're speeding with the boy. Okay. Yeah, this text says, can you let parents know that the teachers at Gerald Cash Primary are on strike and is sending the kids back home? Wow. Oh wow. Oh, they said, okay, they meant to say, the texter said use the hospital by Government House. They meant to say use the kitchen at Government House to cook the food. Well, I don't know. I think the idea with the food truck thing, but again, to go through all that trouble, you might as well just fix the kitchen. The challenge will be even though that seems close, the traffic to get that food from there, unless you have a police escort every time. It just would be a nightmare. A nightmare. All right, let's take these calls and then we'll get on to these other topics. Good morning, caller, you're on the air.
Hey, Cousin Dwight, this GNN here. You know, me and Guardian Radio, we go on and on. I'm the self-appointed investigative reporter for Guardian Radio.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
I'm just putting you all on your guard.
Does the GNN stand for Guardian?
Guardian Radio, Grammy News Network.
There you go. There you go.
But I'm just putting you on your guard. There may be a general hospital strike today. Okay?
Yeah, no, we just mentioned it. Yes, it seems.
You just mentioned it.
Yeah, the public service.
When I got to work, I was greeted by it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you all be careful out there today.
I'm telling you, the Met Office, they must have.
Yeah, okay then.
They're not there. They're not answering the phone. There's no weather report. I had to patch something together from yesterday. But, yeah, It's going to be an interesting October. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
And good morning, Bahamas. You know, Dwight, when you talk about preventive maintenance, I was listening to your call this morning, and that is good. But I may say something that may not be popular with many, but I always do it. Maybe we need to look at, when you look at our structure, how it works, Dwight, we have a lot of what you would call independent contractors who are doing this work, And depending on which government is in, the contractors always be changing, and they change them, rapidly. So is the maintenance staff aware of this type of work that is being done? And are they, maybe this could be the problem. We don't have a systematic thing where you start engaging in these contractual works by private contractors. And a classic case of this is, I listened to your newscast, and I think the PHA director indicated that the contractor who was contracted to do this work at the cafeteria has been paid in full already. I think that's what I heard. Is that what she said?
Let's check and see.
I'm almost certain the newscast.
Well, the Minister of Health said the PMH kitchen is out of commission. The surveyor is now finalizing the scope of the work. We approved $75 million, which incorporates funding for the kitchen and the legacy ward.
Right. Mm-hmm. But in regards to our incoming ambassador, I want to congratulate now Ambassador Herschel Walker, and I am a bit optimistic that their policies aligns with what most Bahamians are concerned about immigration. They don't believe in open borders. They believe in closed borders and people coming in, clearing customs and immigration. And see what was going on here in the Bahamas. And it seems as if you made an interesting point the other day, Dwight, and I thought about it, and I'm still thinking about it, because you may be on to something. When you said that maybe they want all of us here on this one particular island so they can sell off the other island. And I'm beginning to believe that, because when you look at my hometown, I'm a descendant of Abaco. And when you look at Abaco now with these new people, they outnumber the local population by far. And these are some concerns. Yes, people looking for a better way of life, but it shouldn't be at the expense of our local population. Mm-hmm. How are we engaging in helping other persons when we have Bahamians who are homeless, who are jobless? I don't know whether all of them are trying hard enough to find work, but we shouldn't have to be competing at this high level, right? For basic things, essential services, healthcare, schooling, classroom spaces. So I definitely will be reaching out. I don't know about other activists, but I would be reaching out because it's a concern for me. I don't have no big-time health insurance, and if I were to get sick, I would perhaps be placed on a gurney myself. So if other Bahamians who want to speak up, that on them, but I'm going to try my best to see how we could see if just you, Ambassador, could put pressure on the Bahamas, because I believe whatever they're doing in immigration have a direct impact on the U.S. Situation, because these people are transitioning. So I am very optimistic about what I believe this new ambassador will do.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Let's get into it. Walker to the Bahamas in over a decade. Rachel Scott writing about it today. Herschel Walker confirmed yesterday as the United States ambassador to the Bahamas, the first in over a decade. He and more than 100 other nominees were confirmed in a single Senate vote due to a change in the rules that allowed for the quicker confirmation of U.S. President Donald Trump's nominees. Prime Minister Philip Davis said yesterday that he looks forward to working with Walker, saying, quote, "We welcome Ambassador Walker and look forward to continuing our close and constructive partnership with the United States, grounded in friendship, mutual respect, and shared commitment to the progress of our peoples." Walker, as you know, a former NFL player, unsuccessfully ran for the Senate seat in Georgia in 2022. U.S. President Trump named Walker as his pick for U.S. ambassador to the Bahamas in December 2024. At the time of his nomination, Trump described Walker as a successful businessman, philanthropist, former Hell great, and a tireless advocate for youth sports. During his nomination hearing last month before the U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Walker highlighted China's influence and a growing drug smuggling problem in the Bahamas as key issues he would prioritize as ambassador. He said at the time, quote, China is trying to increase its influence in the region. It has built nearly a $3 billion deepwater port in the Bahamas and has made other moves that can threaten our national security. There is a rise in drug smuggling there in the Bahamas, and this is a real danger to the United States. The threat to American lives cannot be overstated. Tackling this serious problem requires leadership and cooperation between our governments. Through Operation Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, OPBAT, the United States works collaboratively with the Northern Caribbean to disrupt illegal trafficking. If confirmed, I will see that this initiative continues to be strong. Well, Walker would be the first U.S. ambassador. Avant left in 2011. Several chargés d'affaires have been appointed since then, but despite ambassador nominees being put forward by various U.S. presidents, since Avant's departure, none have been confirmed to the post. Okay, let's get your reaction. You heard Cleaver just now. What do you say? What do you think of this? First time since 2011, long time. A lot of people were wondering what was going on, what happened, why not? Why not us? But here we go. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Caller, good morning. You're live on the air.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Stewart.
Hi.
Yeah, I thought, just give me 2 seconds. Yeah, well, I know I was a fan of Mr. Herschel Walker. He was the NCAA, before he went to the NFL, he was a track star. So I knew him, and so, you know, I mean, I like the fact that Donald Trump put someone like our color in that tour and showing that he would be able to, sports, et cetera, and just in general, facilitate more tourism, et cetera, and just like sports tourism, et cetera, because, I mean, he should have some pull in the NFL and all these different things, et cetera, but it's a positive outlook, but I disagree with the mutual respect. But I call back to pinpoint something as relate to maintenance. You know, I used to work for BFS also. I used to go around as a kitchen mechanic to Subway, all of the hotels, just anywhere you could think about, and fix machines, Breezes, Club Med, South Ocean. I used to go around and fix these things. So what I noticed in the gentleman called, and he spoke of the what should be done with motors, et cetera. But in Atlanta, I mean, my last job, everything was automated in the sense that you could go and actually look at the RPM, the temperature, and all of these different things. We would have to take a resistance check to know if the motor is getting ready to go, et cetera, et cetera. But I just wanted to point out that all of these things are in a log book. So feed up the information, you could go and look and see if they were maintaining this. They should be able to give you that access. There's a log book of these, the chronology of these maintenance, I would say. So, I mean, you know, it's inglorious. Give thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Dwight. How are you doing?
Doing well.
Turning on my radio. Just first, let me touch on the hospital, Dwight. You made a very important statement. You said, why they just don't tell us what it is the problem is. And that's part of what you call, I keep repeating, a gap analysis. If we actually know every single thing that needs to be done to the hospital today, we can track and pay attention as to what happened. And so what we get to do is to do a comparative analysis of where we are based on what it states, what it's going to cost on the timeline, and how they have progressed or what their plan is for it. And then you talk about the food bus or whatever, the truck. They have emergency kitchens, you know. You can order a 40-foot kitchen or connecting two 40-foot containers totally with a total kitchen and have it probably delivered here in less than 30 days. Right?
And where would you put it?
Beg your pardon?
Where would you put it?
You'd find, you know what's more important, the people in the hospital or the parking?
Oh, my. I have parking now.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But if you have to choose between sustenance and convenience, what are you going to choose? You know, this is why you have to have a greater conversation, because when you begin to have these deep conversation about where we are and what needs to be done on the plantation, because this is why everything they say sounds good. Isn't it funny that Dr. Darwell doesn't know time anymore, or time ends at the election for him? You know, so there's nothing past the election date. Okay, so because clearly I'll be like, hey, it'll be done by 2026, it'll be done by whatever. but it'll be done by election. When exactly is that? But on the Herschel Walker.
Well, I don't know if the reporter asked him that specifically, right? Maybe he only responded that way because I don't know. I don't know.
It's inherent in our leadership because the 5-year celebrities focus on 5 years. Leadership focus on the future.
Yeah.
Okay? So, but on Herschel Walker, I'm looking forward to it based on what was said. Guess why? The world is transitioning. America is leading that transitioning. Access to capital, the need for us to diversify the economy as they begin to diversify. In fact, the world now is no longer necessary. And so in the act of negating China's influence, I would hope that instead of trying to date the government, the United States moves to start to date the children because we are the government. And what I mean by that, giving us access to capital, giving us access to the institution in the United States that we used to have access to, and the fact that somehow over the last 2 decades, the other foreign entities from Canada and other places actually has squeezed us out. We see it in the banking, we see it in other different things. We see it in almost, in investment profile. But we as behemoths must begin to look at the tools and machinery in place by the United States as they begin to shift and be able to know what you're asking for from Mr. Walker so that we could build cooperatively as opposed to being dictated to. And I think it can be a tremendous boost in the tunes of billions of dollars for the behemoth economy over his complaining about the nail, the dog on the nail. Get up off the nail and do something for ourselves individually and collectively on this coming from the economy. But anyway, the most important thing concerning the United States ambassador, it's the leadership ability to understand where we are and where we need to be able to sit at the table and negotiate and even build a table and invite them to our table as opposed to keep going to theirs. Thank you so
Interesting. Much. Okay. Yeah, we'll see if that happens. Let's take another call before we get to your text messages. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. What do you think of the new ambassador?
Well, Dwight, I can tell you one thing. I have the answer for all our problems. That is C. Allen. C. Allen has the answer for everything. So C. Allen need to come to the forefront and help out, either go with Pintard or go with somebody. But now on the stance of Herschel Walker, he is going to be great for the Bahamas because the Republicans has the money, and he want to come up against China, which is a really hard job, So who is going to benefit in all of this? The Bahamas is going to benefit big time with Herschel Walker. That's my thing.
Okay, or be obliterated between the two giants. But okay, one of them. Sure, thank you so much. This person says, oh, this is not nice. I can't read this. They don't have nice things to say about Mr. Walker. Wow. This person, in response to previous caller, our color, he does know that there are white Bahamians here too, right? Well, we have a holiday called Majority Rule. I think that should tell you everything. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, my brother.
Hi.
Davis, John Canoe.
Oh, good morning, sir. Great to hear you always.
Yeah, man. I just want to add my little 2 cents to this Herschel Walker conversation. I think we need to remember, for those particularly that follow politics in the United States, like you use a U.S. term, that all skin folk are not kin folk. So
oh,
we
boy.
Have to be careful
you need to say that again.
All skin folk ain't kin folk. Right? That's one. Number two, my concern, of course, it's certainly some optimistic possibilities with Herschel Walker being here. I would love for American football and his role. I think that would just be a beautiful relationship, contributions to sports, helping with immigration, though I have very different views, but that's for another day, on what most Bahamians feel on immigration, but I know that that's what most Bahamians want, so that's a good thing. But a big red flag for me is the lack of acknowledgement of the influx of weapons that come from the U.S. And this is not just a problem in the Bahamas, it's a Caribbean-wide problem. And remember when the Prime Minister was in one of the issues that he brought up, and this is a national issue, crime, gun violence. This is all something that, but maybe because it wasn't mentioned, might have been because of his own Republican politics, and he may have the intention to address that issue too. But I think we must be aware that the U.S. has done damage to us, both historically and presently as well, when you talk about our food culture, how sick of a nation we are, and of course the influx of guns. So I think we should just make sure we consider and don't be too dewy-eyed, as Dr. Clark would say, over U.S. propaganda and the fame of people like Herschel Walker. And remember that we are a nation in the African diaspora. And remember that is in fact what we are, right? So I'll just hang up and listen in, and thank you for letting me give my 2 cents.
Very well said. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much. Going to see you soon. Thanks a lot. All right. Let's take this call. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Hi, good morning, Dwight. How are you? I was just confused on why are we so elated that Uncle Tom is now
What?
ambassador.
Well, that's kind of mean. I mean, we haven't had an ambassador since 2011. I think people are very excited about that.
I think Herschel Walker will be worse than Blankenship.
Some serious. That's harsh. That's very harsh. Good Lord. Okay. Well, I mean, we should give him a chance. He's not here yet. We might be surprised, right? We might be shocked. Very shocked at what could come out of this. So, no, that's just right. You can't judge people on what you've heard or seen before when they're actually in the job. Right? Mm-hmm. One more call before we need to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
As he will be.
Oh, dear. Okay. What's happening there? Let's read these messages. The language is getting worse, so we might have to change this conversation. I could listen to that previous caller all day. Let's keep it real. Which one? The U.S. ambassador will represent America's interests. Hold your elected officials accountable for what's going on in the Bahamas and stop being cowards. Oh, boy. That's some tough talk there. Mm-hmm. Okay. And these people are crazy, waiting around for a foreign man with business interests to look out for their best interests. Try hard to figure out what's your best interest, start to finish, and then measure what they do against it. There will be no saviors from the outside, right? We've got to do this ourselves. Okay. So what we're going to do, I'm going to get back to this court case a little bit later in the show. Woman who set up boyfriend to be robbed, sentenced to 7.5 years. This is a very disturbing story. Later in the show. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're talking with the Securities Commission about scams. You don't want to miss that. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice, it's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the Know-How team at 396-1101.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
In uncertain times, resilience is everything. That's why CFAL is inviting you to the Financial Services Event of the Year, the 2025 CFAL Pension and Economic Conference. It all happens Thursday, October 16th at 8 a.m. at the Grand Hyatt Bahamas Convention Center. Under the theme Resilience in the Face of Global Uncertainty, this half-day conference is your chance to gain powerful insights on navigating today's shifting global economy. This is the premier networking and knowledge-sharing event of the year, and you cannot afford to miss it. So secure your spot today at www.cfal.com.
This October, let's come together for hope, support, and strength.
It's the Sister Breast Cancer Support Group Dollar Day, happening Friday, October 17th from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., right on the Nassau Guardian grounds, Carter Street.
And the best part? With just $1, you can help make a difference in the fight against breast cancer. Every dollar counts toward awareness, education, and support for women battling this disease.
Come out, drop $1, and stand with us to so many lives.
Join us on Friday, October 17th from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and let's turn every dollar into hope.
That's the Sister Breast Cancer Dollar Day. Proudly sponsored by the Guardian Media Group, Star 106.5, and the Guardian Radio 96.9. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Hi, I'm Shivago Lang, host of Z Live, and we're changing things up a bit. Starting October 14th, our daily talk show will move from 2 p.m. to 12 p.m. Monday through Friday. We have issues, thoughtful analysis of current affairs, insightful coverage of international developments with a reasoned, intelligent, and solutions-focused approach. So tune in weekdays at 12 p.m. for Z Live, where we navigate complexities with poise and purpose, and keep you informed and engaged.
You're the best I ever had. I'm guilty, I confess. Blue lights, red lights. We gon' get real wild tonight. Blue lights, red lights. With you, anything that feels this good, well, it must be illegal. It must be illegal, illegal. Anything that feels this good, well, it must be illegal. It must be illegal. So call us criminals, criminals. Call us criminals, criminals. I've been stealing all your time, but you won't.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong with you on this Wednesday morning. And as we told you last week, it's World Investor Week this week. And financial institutions and others are doing their part to spread the education that's needed for anything to do with money. And the Securities Commission of the Bahamas doing its part as well. And today we are talking with them. And we're talking about a lot of the scams that we're seeing. And they're getting even more sophisticated and unbelievable, especially with AI. Here to talk about this all, we are very pleased to have Manager of Investor Education, Stewart Miller, and Senior Investigations Officer with Enforcement, Vernal Smith. Good morning, gentlemen. Great to have you with us.
Good morning. Good to be here. Thanks for that song, man. That's a perfect setup.
It is perfect, right? All right. So how bad is it with the scams? What are we really seeing right now?
Over the years, we have seen an increase in the use of scams.
Get right into the mic there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Over the years, we've seen, since 2019, we've seen an acceleration in schemes.
Mm-hmm.
But it has been moderated, I believe, because the Securities Commission has been in the public square talking about this for a while.
Yeah.
So we have a decline in the last 3-4 years.
Oh, okay, so the interesting timeline, you're saying 2019, 2020, so that's around the pandemic. We started to see this.
Absolutely.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
All right, so how sophisticated is it getting? I mean, people are seeing videos, hearing themselves, like that's not me.
But typically, what we have seen is that a lot of the scams are involving cryptocurrencies, the use of cryptocurrencies, and forex, foreign currencies, trading. Either the trading in the cryptocurrency or investment in some type in investment fund, including cryptocurrency and forex.
Mm-hmm. How does it work exactly? Well, like what type of things are you seeing?
Well, the outline, without going into the complexity of it all, the signature of the outskirt of most of the scheme is this: you have an offer that says, Give me some money. Give me $100 and you get $5,000.
Wow.
10 times as much as you invest. And you cannot access it for 2 to 3 months. So while you're waiting for 2 to 3 months, give me some more money. Haven't seen your online account and you see the accumulation and you're excited. You're baited. Give me some more money. I can give you 20 or 30 times as much. At the end of that 2 to 3 months, you make an attempt to withdraw the money and there's no money and the person, the institution, the platform has disappeared. Typically, this is the structure of most of the schemes that we have analyzed.
Yeah. So, how many people actually fall for this?
Quite a bit in the Bahamas. We've estimated a ballpark figure for the last scheme involving Creators Alliance. Approximately 5,000 people.
Wow.
That's a lot of people.
And they gave money.
They give money.
And lost.
On the same premise, the same attraction, you can get 10, 20 times as much within 2 to 3 months.
Wow.
But we all human beings. The victims of scams are special individuals. We all have the ingredients in all of us that we are susceptible of being scammed. We have needs, we have wants, and sometimes we exercise a degree of greed. So these are the common ingredients that scammers attract us to.
Yeah.
If I could just chime in for a minute, while, again, as Mr. Smith said, scammers are using things like crypto and forex trading to lure you in. A lot of the tactics are the same, and the ways that you can help to protect yourself really are the same. So when you see something that seems to be good to be true, it probably is. When you see promises of guaranteed returns, really business models that don't make any sense. For example, watch this video and we're going to give you hundreds of dollars. These things are red flags, and they should be signs to stop, to pause, to follow some good hygiene practices with investments. For example, research, do your own independent research. Find out if the person offering that investment advice is actually licensed or registered with the Securities Commission. If they're not, that's again, that leaves you a lot less protected if something does happen and we need to take some action.
But often there's a local connection, right? There's somebody here saying, yeah, I'm doing it and it works. And they're like, I don't know if they're a go-between, somebody telling you, I promise you, this is working for me. I made this much last week.
Yeah, so often with these scams, they make sure that some people get a little payout at the beginning, and they then use word of mouth of those people who got that early payout to help to promote the scam.
Absolutely, you tend to have local promoters.
Yeah.
They understand the culture, and that's one of the cultural aspects.
So they're not necessarily in on it. They're just being duped as well, or is it both?
Sometimes they are on it. They're in it. They're part of the structure of the organization, scamming organization.
And
yes.
No, a lot of times there's a promise that if you recruit people, then you're going to get paid. And of course, having to recruit someone in order to make your investment work, that's a and it's definitely a red sign. So when you say, when you have to bring 5 people in and then you're going to get X, that's the sign of a Ponzi or a pyramid.
Right, absolutely. Exactly. Yeah. What I have previously described, including what you just mentioned, recruiting, especially if your earnings in that structure depends on how many people you recruit.
Right.
That process, that structure is being criminalized by the Financial and Corporate Service Providers Act of 2020.
Yeah. So technically, when you do decide to recruit and bring someone in, you're actually running afoul of the law yourself. So, that's just something to note.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the penalties for this. What are we looking at here now?
Up to $100,000 in fines.
Wow.
It's a criminal offense, by the way, and you can get sentenced as well as up to civil. To a monetary fine of up to $100,000.
So the Bahamas was one of the first jurisdictions in the world to actually introduce legislation like this that criminalizes financial schemes, and it's part of the work we do with the Securities Commission of the Bahamas and the efforts we take to protect investors and consumers.
Yeah. How many charged so far to date?
The Commission has made the effort to bring a number of persons before the court, but that involves another agency, and matters with the police department So hopefully in the future we see some movement. And that movement is critical to having the impact in society that you need to bring that awareness that these things are not acceptable.
Absolutely, absolutely. Are you concerned about AI that it's going to make this even harder for people to determine what is fake and what is real?
Definitely. Look, AI, people are using AI to customize, tailor, and really market their scams to a very broad and targeted audience of people. So they're using AI to leverage their criminality, really, you know. So it's in one of the activities we have running for World Investor Week this week is AI or a Lie, a video series where we go out, we talk to students. It's a fantastic series. You have to check our website out and see these college students engage with scams.
Or you try to test them.
And see if they can identify if something is actually an AI or a scam. And we use it to help to teach to see if something may be a fraud or a scam that's generated by AI. Interestingly, one of the romance scams that we generated on that, we used an artificial intelligence to help us to generate that. And I mean, it was speaking to us like Bahamians. So someone from abroad can be talking to you about the conch stand up the road and bringing that into their scam.
Oh, my goodness.
And using Bahamian vernacular. That they pick up, that the AI provides for them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you say romance?
So romance scams are really big as well.
Securities Commission monitors those too?
To the extent that romance
for money.
Right. Money's
Okay.
involved,
All right.
transfer of money's involved.
Not broken
by
heart.
deception. By
Not
deception.
the broken heart part.
We
Not
do not
broken heart.
regulate
No.
broken
Okay.
hearts. And,
Romance is just a method to the end.
Right. And it's almost always that, right? The money?
Yeah.
Yes, the money. Yes, the money is key to the whole scam definition.
So
You can't skip that.
globally, romance scams are on the rise. They have a lot of names. Pig butchering is one of the names that's been assigned to romance scams, and it's on the alert for IOSCO and regulators across the world. And the information Vernal gave earlier, they're based on what we're aware of because of what people tell us, and it's really important. We know that there are so many more things happening out there, but people aren't bringing them to our attention. So please, if you think you've been the victim of a fraud or scam, reach out to the Securities Commission, www.scb.gov.bs, or call us, 397-4100, of course, 242, the area code, and let us know what's happening, because that's how we will be aware of what's happening. That will impact our statistics and where we focus our energies, and it's the beginning of potentially prosecuting these people and bringing them to justice.
Wow.
If I may ask, to further protect the rest of the community.
Yes.
Yeah. Public protection.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm just curious, with the college students, how well did they do? Did they pick up on what was a
Check
lie
out the
or
video.
was AI?
So they are. Let me tell you, this generation, I think, can be, and they often are. We know we're going to schools. We go into schools as well, and the kids often know better than Grammy. Do not click on that link.
Right.
And they are the front line. So I think they did very well. There were one or two who got caught. One or two of the scams were legitimate, but for the most part, again, I think it's a much savvier, younger generation. They are skeptical, and you need to be skeptical.
Excellent.
You have to assume that someone's trying to take your money. They're not trying to give money away.
Well, I was going to ask you if you're noticing certain age groups more susceptible, and you just said it basically. It's older.
So
older folks.
so when it comes to tech stuff, I think students often know. Don't click on that link. This could be a phishing scam, which is huge nowadays. Of course, you get this HR job application. Someone sends you something. You're in trouble with the Department of Transportation. You have to send this information, provide this information, click this link. So they're a little more savvy with that, perhaps. But that doesn't mean that they aren't. They're not susceptible to the promise of make $500 by clicking on this video or whatever, or watching this video for us.
Wow, boy.
Right. A lot of people, entities, becomes victims because recommendation from a family member, from a friend, or even a faith leader.
Yes.
Some leadership in the community. So that's a situation as well.
Yeah, very scary. Wow. All right, we got some text messages coming in, and you can get your text messages in, even on some of your calls. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-425. Now you can call us toll free, 242-300-5720. This person says here, there's also ransom scams where you get the text or email with people threatening to share private information.
Absolutely.
Don't fall for this. Is what this person's saying.
Yeah, so a lot of people have gotten in their email
Yeah.
say we have those pictures that site that hub site you've been at or whatever, and we have these pictures on from your phone or whatever, and we're gonna
Or even someone you sent the pictures to, turning around to threaten to.
Well,
expose the pictures.
that's probably more legitimate if you send pictures to someone and they're threatening you. But but people also, they get you, they have your email address and they send this information, hoping that you're paranoid enough about it to go and usually turn some money into some cryptocurrency to send them.
Yep.
And another red flag, if you have to be, if something asks you to wire transfer money out of the country and gift cards, those are often signs that this is a scam. They're trying to avoid the legitimate banking system to do that.
Even if the person says they're your brother stuck in Tasmania or something.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Be very wary. This person's saying, same thing you said, Vernal. It's often church leaders luring people to this. Wow,
For clarity, I said faith leaders. Not necessarily church leaders.
All right. Let's take this call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning to all of you gentlemen.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I would like to propose an idea out to you. Speculating or circulating around right now, there is this chance that President Trump is going to use crypto, particularly Bitcoin, to offset the U.S. $37 trillion debt. Now, I know that is economically next to impossible because to fully offset $37 trillion, Bitcoin has to be around 2.1 million, which is probably get there by 2035 or so. But however, on doing something of this nature, I see it as something to pay careful attention to. Do you see him offsetting the U.S. national debt by any degree in his term, and how would that affect our currency, which is pegged to the U.S. dollar? Could you answer that for me?
So listen, I have to travel to D.C. next week. I ain't even going there. But I appreciate the question. I'll use the opportunity to say, look, the Securities Commission of the Bahamas regulates crypto assets and digital assets exchanges in the Bahamas. And I think we have one of the leading pieces of legislation in the world. It's, of course, been tested, and I think we're very proud of the legislation that we have to regulate it. But that's we do that from the perspective of protecting investors and creating a business environment for that in the Bahamas. And we're not opining on people's economic decisions and how they're going to balance budgets, et cetera, et cetera. That's a little out of my scope.
Right.
Yeah.
One final call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing well.
Okay, I can make this quick. Listen, the local companies, the general companies that sell you these data plans, okay? You will find that, if you get an $8 plan, you will find that even if you're playing a game that you downloaded on your phone, these pop up. And they only take seconds. When you try to get them off, they take seconds. But they're taking away from your data. I consider that a scam, okay? Every time, I kid you not. The game I have games and I go play on my own phone, even though I only have that plan. And then all of a sudden, the whole...
Oh, did she use up all her data on us? Oh, dear.
I knew you'd go there.
All right, but interesting. What do you say to that?
So we regulate securities, investment funds, the capital markets, digital assets exchanges, financial and corporate service providers. That sounds like something if anyone, she may want to reach out to Erica if she has a concern with that. That wouldn't be within our scope.
Yeah. Okay. On this text here, as we wind down and running out of time, this person says, some people are clueless. Someone tried to recruit me once. I told them that this was a scam. They said, no, this is real. Some people have already gotten paid. Predictably, they got the bad news and their money was all tied up. But don't worry, it's being cleared up in a few months. Months later, I asked them about it, and they admitted it went bust. Bahamas are too gullible. And then they start to get into politics here. But are we more gullible than other people in the region, in the world? What are we seeing?
No, I say no.
Okay.
It's not gullibility.
But you need to be skeptical.
Yes.
I mean, again, that comes back to the
Right.
message. You cannot assume that people are trying to give money away, that there are get-rich-quick schemes out there that everyone isn't taking advantage of. You have to be skeptical.
Even of your fellow Bahamians.
Even if your fellow Bahamian claims he got it. You know, if you're going to make any investment, you need to understand how that investment works.
Yeah.
You owe that to yourself to understand how it works. Like, what's the business behind this? And if the business is more people got to bring more people, that's not a sustainable business model. You know, if the business is just do this little piece of work that anyone can do, and we're going to pay you hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars for it, or hundreds and hundreds of dollars, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
And you need to use your common sense to be. You know, we talk about prosecuting people. The truth is, once you've lost your money, you're probably not going to get that back.
Wow.
So the best thing you can do is to know the red flags and to make sure that you're not a victim in the first place.
Yeah.
scb.gov.bs. We have a lot of information there to help you. 397-4100. Call us and find out if we're not going to give you investment advice, but we can tell you if someone's registered, not registered. If you are getting yourself into a scam, we can probably be involved with helping you to see that as well.
Right. Okay. Right.
Absolutely.
Any final words of advice to folks out there? These things come around, especially the pyramid schemes, come around every couple of years. You'd think people would remember, but they often seem to fall for it again. But what would you say to folks?
That is why we're here to have this conversation. Be suspicious. Awareness is the key.
Yeah.
By us coming and talking about these things, it sets in your mind. So be alert. Check. Pause. Check, and check again.
Right,
Yes.
right. And I would just put a final plug in. Look, don't be ashamed if you have, because there is a tendency, if you've been a victim of one of these things, to feel embarrassed. And we encourage you not to, because reach out to us. It's again, if we're going to get at these people who are defrauding your fellow Bahamians and you, please don't be ashamed. Reach out. We have a website with a complaints form if you want to go that route. Or again, I would encourage you as well, if you feel more comfortable picking up the phone. When you say what's happening, we'll direct you to someone who can get your information and advance the process.
Wonderful. Give us that website and your phone number again.
Sure. www.scb.gov.bs 242-397-4100. We're waiting for your call. We're looking to protect you.
Okay.
Reach out.
Wonderful stuff. Stewart Miller, Vernal Smith with the Securities Commission of the Bahamas. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Happy World Investor Week. Thank you for the great work that you're doing.
Thank you.
We're going to break for news and be back with more business, talking with the Humane Society and their Wash Your Paws campaign. It's not just about pets, folks. Stay tuned. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us, because we've got you covered.
This October, Bahama invites you to indulge your senses at the Culinary and Arts Festival, where world-class flavors meet breathtaking creativity in the heart of the Bahamas. Join us October 22nd through 26th for an unforgettable celebration featuring culinary legends Daniel Boulud, Marcus Samuelson, Dario Cicchini, and Simeon Hall Jr., alongside a vibrant lineup of Bahamian chefs and mixologists. Explore captivating art installations, interactive workshops, and live performances, all set against the stunning backdrop of Nassau's premier luxury resort. And don't miss an electrifying live performance by global superstar Lenny Kravitz, headlining the festival's welcome party on Friday, October 24th, with a concert experience you won't forget. This is more than a festival, it's a feast for the soul. Tickets and packages are going fast. Visit Bahamar.com to reserve your spot at the Culinary and Arts Festival at Bahamar, where taste and talent take center stage. Life spectacular.
Looking for insurance that fits your lifestyle and your budget? At Star General Insurance, we've got you covered.
Whether it's motor insurance with flexible options for third-party liability and comprehensive coverage, or commercial insurance products that protect your business, we have choices you can afford. Own a home or renting? Our home insurance products have just what you need. And for the adventurers out there, we offer marine insurance too. Visit our website or social media pages for contact information and quotes. Star General, insurance made simple.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Your solution for rising gas prices and expensive car maintenance has landed. Brand new 2026 electric vehicles from BYD have arrived at Easy Car Sales. Imagine no more gas and major savings on maintenance. Test drive a BYD EV today and save thousands with the car that redefines driving. Visit easy242.com for our 3 locations, in-house financing, and more. Easy Car Sales, the only authorized BYD dealer and warranty provider in the Bahamas.
Don't wait for a storm to arrive. Stock up on hurricane supplies, make home repairs, purchase a generator, and more this hurricane season with a Fidelity personal loan. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Wednesday, October 8th, 2025. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan, and we told you about this a few weeks ago, the Wash Your Paws campaign, and we're getting an update on it now. There's a partnership between the Ministry of Health and the Bahamas Humane Society. So Percy Grant is back with us as part of our monthly series with the Bahamas Humane Society. Good to see you again. Yes, and back with us from the National Infection Prevention and Control Program, we have Nursing Officer Raquel Dillian and Nursing Officer Tamara Donaldson. Ladies, great to see you again. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Blessed morning to you.
I've sanitized the studio for you all, so don't fuss us out. But okay, so it's been a few weeks now. How's the program going?
It was wonderful. You know, we did several campaigns already this year, but the Wash Your Paws really turned out very well. Mm-hmm. Persons were receptive to it. Persons got the education. The questions are coming up. Yeah. We have a lot of discussion about not only washing your hands. I almost said paws. Right. Washing your actual hands, the power of that, what it can do, but also with adoption as well. Kids, visitors, and other persons would like to also adopt. Yes. So we've had good discussion. Yes. Right. Okay. And in addition, we're able to detect now. We know for the Bahamas what our weak areas are when persons do wash their hands, because we were doing testing, UV light testing. So that's awesome.
Wow. All right. So for those who missed it last time you were here, remind folks what the campaign is about. Yes, it's called Wash Your Paws, you said. Yes. Not really about paws.
Right. So we were using a new slogan because, persons, I guess, they were tired of the old slogan, wash your hand, wash your paws, sanitize. So we came up with something that was already used in the States, and it was recommended by the Association for Professionals in Infection Control and Epidemiology. And so what they had suggested is using service dogs and using the slogan "Wash Your Paws" (PAWS) to encourage persons to wash their hands. And so the dogs with the Bahamas, we decided to use adoptable dogs, partnering with the Bahamas Humane Society, and getting healthcare workers to wash their hands at those during those opportunities of hand washing. And at the same time, we extended it to our schools because we were having outbreaks in the schools of different diseases that can be avoided by hand washing. Right.
Okay. What types of diseases can you say?
Okay, so Sister Dillon is the one who usually would tell the children and the healthcare workers. So I'm going to turn the mic to her so that she'd be able to tell you.
Okay, tell us all about it. Do we need to brace ourselves for this, or?
Okay, so with the germs you can get from not washing your hands properly would be like pink eye. You could get like respiratory illnesses such as the cold or the flu, as well as, gastrointestinal illnesses. You could have like symptoms of diarrhea and vomiting. So, those type of illness you could pick up if you don't wash your hands properly.
And it's pretty common stuff.
Yes, common stuff.
Right.
Wow. So, were kids surprised? Were they did they not know this stuff when you talked to them?
Well, when you first start, person said, "Oh, it's hand washing," and so you're thinking, "Okay, this is something we already know how to do it." For instances, we did pre-test questioning, and found out that persons, they knew of the hand washing, but they didn't know how to wash their hands properly. Okay, they were surprised at that. And
don't know how to do that.
right, and even extending what you can get from that, you have zoonotic illnesses, illnesses that you can get from your pets and other animals that can be reduced if you were to wash your hands. Okay, and Mr. Grant could probably tell you more about that as well.
And of course, we have a lot of
zoonotic
issues here. I mean, skin diseases particularly, and then with cats, people could pick up lice, they could pick up fungus or ringworm on their hands, and so washing your hands is essential. And as a result of this, too, we've had an uptick in our adoptions, mostly cats. So, Sister Donaldson, a lot of cats have been flying out the door now. Not as many dogs as we would like. We're still overcrowded with dogs. Folks, please come and adopt a dog. We have lovely puppies, lovely juveniles down there ready to go. They have all their vaccination shots. They're chipped. I mean, you can't beat it. I mean, you're getting a good deal. I mean, it would cost you a couple of $100 to get what we give out for $50 and $35 in cats, $50 in dogs, $25 in a big dog. Come and adopt. We have a lot of dogs and they're ready to find their forever homes.
Let me ask you this. So you talk about the zoonotic diseases. So if you wash the animal more frequently, would that make a difference? If you wash your dog, wash the cat?
Well, I think it goes without saying. I mean, hygiene is important all around. I think washing and bathing your dogs, giving a dog a good bath, especially weekly dogs who live in a house should be bathed as much as possible or be disinfected. Probably they have now the glove that you could use to make sure and disinfect your dog that's in the house, is on the couch, jumping up and down, spores are flying. A lot of things could go on. And so I think hygiene is extremely important.
Yeah.
You don't want to get your dog sick by you could by giving them something that they can ingest and poison and stuff like that. But sensible washing bowls, especially using mild bleach and some detergent, and washing bowls especially. People are very prone to animals get sick mostly because of hygiene, because of surroundings. Puppies, on the floor, close their nose, they're close to the floor. They pick up parasites frequently. They can get detergent poison, and you don't rinse that floor properly, mopping, using your bleach and your pine sol and stuff like that can get sick. Puppies particularly, so you have to be very, very careful. The house dogs, nosy, they like to sniff, and make sure that you rinse your floors properly, clean. And you got to make sure that everything is done properly, because otherwise, you lose them.
Yeah, wow. All right, so Nurse Donaldson, you talked about it, people not knowing how to wash their hands. So there is a method, the length of time and where and when. Let's talk more about that.
Okay, and so you have these opportunities for washing hands, first of all. And so in the community, so I'll let Dylan deal with the community part, but in terms of the hospital, we encourage our healthcare workers to look up WHO opportunities for hand washing, because that includes things like washing your hands before you even enter the patient's environment. If you're touching the patient, if you're touching the objects around the patient, before procedures, clean procedures, after procedures, before handling feces, stools, before doing so many different activities, but also, and so we want to just encourage that with them, to don't miss those opportunities. And so we will be going around in another initiative, and which will be ongoing, monitoring healthcare workers to see if they utilize the opportunities for hand washing, and then they will be graded on that.
Oh my goodness.
And so each institution will also be graded, and that will be shared with the institution so that they will have baseline data, of course, and then we'll be able to compare to see if there are any improvements with that.
Will you share that with the public?
But yes, I mean, statistics is always there. Once it's cleared through the ministry and other agencies, then it will be available to the public.
No.
No, that's a yes. That's a yes, because other institutions worldwide, they share the information.
They do. Right.
And so we have nothing to hide, especially when we're learning and we're growing.
Yeah.
So that's a powerful thing. The other thing that we'll be doing is we mentioned testing. So you figure out, say, how do you test your hands after hand washing? Is there a blood test? No, there's UV light. All right, your hands would be under the UV light very briefly. So what we have been doing is putting a small pea amount size of fake germ into the hands, and we allow you to rub it all over your hands, under your nails, everywhere you would put lotion. And then we will invite you to go and wash your hands and try to wash your hands 30 seconds, getting all those key areas that we're encouraging you to get.
Right.
And when you're done with that, you go under the UV light in a dark box, your hands now, under there, and then we will see the glow. If it glows, that fake germ, which is a glow germ, then we will detect your weak areas. And that's what we were picking up when we were going around to the healthcare institutions. So we went the Sandals Rehabilitation and Geriatric Hospital. We went to the Princess Margaret Hospital. We went to Elizabeth Estates Clinic, South Beach Clinic, Anstown Clinic. We also went to some schools. Sister Dylan, can you help me with my brain this morning? I know we went to St. John's College, St. Francis Joseph, C.W. Sawyer.
C.W. Sawyer, Pine Out, Sanibel Primary.
Sanibel Primary, right.
Yeah.
So we've been around, and like I said, this is not our first initiative, so we did go to other healthcare institutions before. And so what we found is that with the healthcare workers, you know, everybody's into the growing nails age right now. So the nails is an issue around the cuticle, under the nails, and especially when persons have either polish or acrylic nails or some extension on their hands, and they pile up decorations on them too. The germs are inside and around those areas that are hard to clean, so we were encouraging them to travel with your brushes and clean your hands properly. Now when we get to, and also the back of the hands, now when we get to the children, we were dealing with 6th grade students. Their areas include those nails once again, okay? Their cuticles, and then they, at one particular school, everybody but one person had issues with their palms for some reason.
Really?
So they were concentrating on the back of their hands, I guess rolling their hands over and over, washing the back of their hands, but the palms of their hands were left out, okay? And so there were some of our weak areas, and so we were encouraging and pressing with the schools to remind the kids to wash all areas of their hands. The workers. So everybody appreciated that. So it wasn't a test to say you fail or you pass. It was to tell you where your weak areas were.
And the road is going to be leading to the Humane Society next. They're coming to my healthcare workers, and we're going to see how that works, because we're working with animals. You know, we have cats, we do felines and cats and dogs, and of course cats are prone for lice and also funguses. We have a fungal room that we have an isolation area, And we have girls who work in that particular area. They have the gown up and put their shoes on and the gloves and stuff like that. Those people, I tell you the truth, they're the only ones I feel should always wear gloves 24/7.
Right.
Other than the other staff who, could wash their hands properly. But even them have to learn how to wash your hands. So I can't wait until Mr. Sister Dylan come down to see my staff and see how well we are.
Off air, she was threatening to bring the UV light in here. I mean,
Yes.
You don't want to do that.
We were inviting ourselves to come in. Not threatening. We were inviting ourselves to come in and test their hands here at the Guardian Radio.
We
don't have it today, but we're going to come. Yeah, we're going to come to
Test
you.
everybody at the Guardian show. Yeah. Why not? Why not?
Check.
All right, so you gave a little bit of the advice on how the technique to washing. So you got to focus on the palm and the back of the hand. Tell us some more. What to do? Do you need to have brushes all the time, or what do you recommend?
Okay, Sister Dylan.
So briefly, the steps in washing your hands would be you wet your hands first. That's the first. No, before that. Before that, you're going to remove all your jewelries, ring, bracelet, watch.
Every time you wash?
Yes.
Okay.
Why? Because the germs can be trapped on those items.
Yeah.
So you have to remove those items from your hands.
Don't you want them washed too, though?
Pardon me?
You don't want to wash them too? Wash that ring at the same time?
You could wash that separate.
Okay.
Yeah, you could, and I'm sure some persons take their jewelries and stuff to get professionally cleaned.
Yeah.
So you could do all of that separate. But you're going to wet your hands.
Didn't think of that, that's true.
Yeah, remove the jewelry. You're going to wet your hands. After you wet your hands, you're going to apply the soap in the palm of your hands. Get enough. And then you're going to rub your hard. So that's the palm, the back of your hands, in between the fingers, underneath the nail beds, on top of the nails, and you're going to focus on the cuticle area, the wrist, for at least 20 seconds. So you could count from 1 to 20, sing the happy birthday song twice, but you're going to do that for at least 20. So it could be 20 seconds or more. And like Sister Donson said, that with some of the kids, the palm of their hands wasn't clean properly because it could be due to the fact that they wasn't rubbing hard enough. So you rubbing your hand very, very gently, it's not going to remove the germs. It's like it didn't make any sense. You wash your hands. So you have to, vigorously and hard, rub it real good, get in between the fingers, the wrist all over for at least 20 seconds or more. Once you're done, you're going to rinse your hands off with the water. Make sure all the soap is off, and then you're going to dry your hands properly. Dry in between, using the napkins, and then you're done.
Yeah. Okay.
You're done.
That's a lot. That's a production.
Yes.
So if you're like in the kitchen cooking, and if you're like me with ADD, every step you're washing your hands. Do you have to do it like that every time, or do you? Is it a little rinse off here okay in the middle of?
The World Health Organization doesn't recommend a shortcut no shortcuts for that. Okay, you must wash like that every time. But however, there's something called a hand sanitizer. If you have hand sanitizer, we recommend 60%. Well, actually, WHO recommends 60% or greater of alcohol in that sanitizer. And so if you cannot get to wash your hands right away, we encourage the hand sanitizer. You still use it for 20 seconds. The only difference is you don't dry your hands. Your hands have to be air dried before you touch any object.
Okay.
Now, the problem is, and I must stress with healthcare workers, and you must remember this, healthcare workers, hand sanitizers do not kill every pathogen, especially okay? And so those healthcare-associated infections, 1 or 2 of them, they are not destroyed by hand sanitizer. So hand sanitizers will not do for that. We must wash our hands every time.
Wow.
Okay, because the alcohol will not kill the germ. Only the washing with that sodium-rich soap, the water, and for that vigorously and for that amount of time will remove the organism and destroy and send that away. Other than that, it will still be with you.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay?
Let's take this call, and you can call in as well, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, or toll free, 242-300-5720. Caller, good morning, you're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Stewart, and good morning to your wonderful guest.
Hi, good morning.
Well, I hope I'm just learning something. She sent me down another rabbit hole, but I just wanted to share this. And thank God that she had mentioned alcohol, et cetera, given that they have enveloped viruses and non-enveloped, what they call naked, and then they have gram-negative and gram-positive bacteria, which would mean the outer layers that protect the nucleus, et cetera. So we know that one of the biggest lies during the pandemic was COVID was on the money, but they didn't give me any, right? So what I did was, for me, I had a big bottle of alcohol in the shop, 70% peroxide. So I actually, when I read up on it, it speaks to, but I think it's one of the components of the immune system that actually produce a hydrogen peroxide-like substance that actually kills viruses and bacteria, et cetera. So we know that hydrogen peroxide takes a longer time to destroy the outer layers of the viruses, bacteria, et cetera. Alcohol does it more rapidly. So I guess cutting the fingernails along with what this lady is saying. So I was surprised that she said that it doesn't kill all of the bacteria, but hydrogen peroxide maybe does, but I guess it takes a longer time to break down the walls, to destroy the genetic material, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, I just thought she gave a great idea. Well, you know, like she said, some instances, some people wouldn't be able to wash their hands, so you would have a big container of alcohol, et cetera, et cetera. So maybe you could highlight some of the bacteria that are not killed, because I'll go down that rabbit hole to make sure that you are correct. Because
yes,
I thought hydrogen peroxide takes a longer time, but obviously viruses and bacteria protected by your outer layer, and that's the difference right there between gram-negative and gram-positive. So I'll look into that. But like I say, one of the biggest lies is COVID was on the money, but they didn't give me any. So I used to just dip the money in the alcohol and then leave it there. And then I was trying to get rid of people that said, like I was costing almost $60 a can. Give thanks.
Okay.
So what won't work on?
Okay, so but mostly, and I would say this, we also partnered with disease surveillance that deals with community outbreaks, and so they were encouraging this as well. So most of the organisms, pathogens that are not destroyed with hand sanitizer alone, actually causes diarrhea, gastroenteritis, and so that's why hand washing is very important. But this gentleman is testing me today on the phone to see why we are the national infection prevention and control focal point for the Bahamas.
Every day here, so join the club.
That's all right. Yeah. So we do have the norovirus. I'm sure you heard about things like that. We do have cryptosporidium. We call it C. diff also. C. diff is something that cannot be destroyed, and so the list is very long. And so they're the ones that we actually measure or we take note of in the patients, because these organisms are very hard to treat. The norovirus, of course, that's a virus, but then you also have bacteria as well. And so that is why we have a whole program that deals with looking at the symptoms of the effects of these organisms if it's present in the patient. And so we look at it where persons who may be on the ventilator, persons who have indwelling catheters, persons who have surgical sites, who had surgery and for some reason they may have gotten infected in the hospital. So we monitor all of those things. There's something called healthcare associated infection surveillance. And so that is something that hospitals carry out around the world, and the Bahamas is no different. And so we look at those very good to ensure that persons who come into a hospital are not infected with anything they didn't really bring in. Okay? So our concern with this program, not only the patients, but the visitors, and then we look at also the staff, the staff persons. So that's staff, visitors, and patients with these same organisms here, and also new organisms. Let's say like the COVID virus. Okay, that was something. It was in the community, but it was also in hospital. So you had persons who were visitors. We had persons who were patients and staff members being affected by that, and some unfortunately got very sick. And unfortunately, some died. And so we have a powerful conference that will take place this same month. And for our church service at Evangelistic Temple on the 21st of October, we will take a moment of silence for those healthcare workers who would have passed and during the call of duty. Okay? And so I thank the caller for actually bringing this up, because this is something we need to talk about a little bit more, because we believe that the sanitizer is the all and all.
Me as well.
Persons have it in their car. I know Mr. Dwight have it everywhere because I peek through the door and I see him sanitizing all the microphone, the earphones, and he go in the car and I say, excuse me, Mr. Dwight, everything is okay. And I thought he was setting up for surgery. And looks like before someone told me he was doing science. But anyhow.
After the show.
Yes. So probably after the healthcare workers leave because, we have extra germs. And he already said he have, what you say you have?
Well, I have everything.
Yeah.
The OCD, ADD, all of it, all the alphabet. Yeah.
So very nice question from the gentleman.
And it's certainly how when we had the stamp outbreak in Bahamas,
Right.
in Nassau, we had to have footbaths in various points at the Humane Society, the door, and even sections in those different habitats. You would have to have a footbath to go in, and because people bring in germs off their feet, they could take germs out. They could go home and infect their dogs with the stamp.
You remember, it was dangerous to walk your dog.
It's very dangerous to walk your dog.
Yeah.
And talk about walking dogs, we need to also have people remember, particularly people who walk their dogs, especially in gated communities and anywhere in the community. You should pick up after your dog. When you talk about feces and how to handle it, it's important that people do and pick up the feces and dispose of it properly. Because you could cause an environment issue as well.
Well, we certainly don't see much of that happening around here. I mean, it's not a law, though, right?
It's not a law.
Not yet.
It's not a law. No, it's not a law.
Yeah.
It should be. It's not a law, but in gated communities, they have their own little bylaws. They have their little rules and regulations that people should pick up.
Yeah.
But people still, you still find that individual who just won't pick up after the dog.
They love to allow folks to go on other people's lawns to do their business.
Yeah.
All right, so this came up last time you were here. Somebody says, too much hand washing will not allow the immune system to develop immunity to germs. What do you say to that? We've got a couple messages like that, including from a doctor friend of mine. Well,
oh my goodness.
What do you say to that?
Okay, so we're hoping the doctor friend is not in the Bahamas. I'm only kidding. Yes. But, however, no. But in terms of the immune system, no. Now, the caller mentioned earlier about that. Now, the thing is, when you go to wash your hands, you want to get the job done, but you don't want to break down anything on yourself.
Right.
So some things are a bit too harsh.
Okay.
So if you're using, Mr. Inspector Grant mentioned bleach, but it's diluted.
Yes,
Okay,
diluted.
so there's a way how to mix that concentration of the bleach and hydrogen peroxide, things like that, but it's too harsh. And something like that will break the skin.
It will break
And
the
once the skin is broken, remember the skin is the largest organ that you have, and it's the first line of defense for your body. So if the skin is broken, you open up to germs. So you don't want to use anything harsh. Now, when you go to wash your hands with the soap and water that is recommended, that is something that's going to remove the pathogens. Pathogens are bad germs, okay? It's going to remove and destroy that. So that is, and that is something that is not beneficial to the body, those pathogens. You're trying to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, and it's still on your hands, the tools that you use to place into your mouth and other parts of your body is going to enter your body, and it's going to do harm to your body. Same norovirus there on your hands, you're going to get the gastroenteritis. You may not survive. So those things are very serious. And for kids and elderly persons, they're more at risk for having severe symptoms of these diseases.
So you don't support if it doesn't kill you, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
What don't kill will cure?
Right. And that when the apocalypse comes, that you'll be able to manage because you went through all this before with the germs? No?
Oh my goodness, you should be able to survive once you do what is supposed to be done. But otherwise, these germs, they're good germs, they're bad germs. But I mentioned something called pathogens. Pathogens are the bad germs. And that is never good for you, no part of the body.
All right. Good stuff. So, Nurse
yes.
Dillon?
I wanted to add, we have
Get a
like
little closer to
the,
the mic there for us. Yeah.
with the good bacteria, right, we have like the probiotics, right, which is the lactobacillus. And with that bacteria, it will help to stabilize any harmful or anything in the stomach area, any bacteria. It basically would balance it out and prevent any more harmful bacteria from infecting the gut area. So you do have your good and your bad.
Right.
And we basically are promoting that we don't want any bad bacteria or germs affecting our hands and our body.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have good and bad.
All right. So what's next after this? The campaign is pretty much wrapped up now. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're wrapping up with the campaign right now, but we do have an annual hand hygiene day, which is May 5th next year. So as we go towards that, we still will be working with healthcare institutions to formulate a hand hygiene program for their organization, whatever it is. And I know some schools and other persons were calling in. You need to have your hand hygiene system in your school or your healthcare institution. And on that day, on May 5th, you need to make it big and know what you're doing, because sometimes customers or visitors would like to know that they're going to a clean place.
Yeah.
They're going to someone who practices good hygiene, and it may increase your customers coming in.
Business.
Okay, with your business, if they see that that's something big that you're doing.
See,
okay.
More people might want to come on the show and see know how much we clean the mics and stuff.
Yeah, and so we will have, and we did appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We will have more of this, and so you'll be seeing statistics from us in the Bahamas about hand hygiene. Now we're on the map. It was started last year, and so you will now start to see how we were able to grow as a country in terms of hand hygiene, and we will be more prepared for an epidemic should it happen, and hopefully not a pandemic, but we will be better prepared, and we should have less morbidity and more mortalities. We should have less of that.
Excellent. Hopefully you'll come back before that to
Yes.
talk about that.
Right.
Yeah, great stuff. And Percy, always a lot going on with the Humane Society. Really quickly, let us know what's next.
Well, what's next? We have another organization we're working with. It's a forestry, and they're going to be talking about control. They're part of the National Ministry of National Security, and this is a new team in town, and so they're going to be on next
month. Okay, you'll come back and tell us about that.
That's
All
very
right, great
exciting.
stuff. Great stuff. Keep up the wonderful work all of you are doing, and glad to hear it was a successful campaign. Thank you for sharing it with us. Really appreciate you all, Nurse Dillon and Percy Grant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
We're going to take a break and then be back to wrap things up. Our final few minutes of Morning Blend Business straight ahead after this on Guardian Radio 96.9.
And do the things I want. You think you got the best of me, think you've had the last laugh, bet you think that everything good is gone. Think you left me broken down, think that I'll come running back. Maybe you don't know me 'cause you're dead wrong. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller, doesn't mean I'm lonely when I'm alone.
In uncertain times, resilience is everything. That's why CFAL is inviting you to the Financial Services Event of the Year, the 2025 CFAL Pension and Economic Conference. It all happens Thursday, October 16th at 8 a.m. at the Grand Hyatt Bahamas Convention Center. Under the theme Resilience in the Face of Global Uncertainty, this half-day conference is your chance to gain powerful insights on navigating today's shifting global economy. This is the premier networking of the year, and you cannot afford to miss it. So secure your spot today at www.cfal.com.
Southwest Plaza has so many stores, I've been trying to find a sensible way to list them all. There's CBS Bahamas, the Ashai Institute, BENC Snack World, Bamboo Shack Bahamas, there, the Athlete's Foot and BTC, Games and More, John Bull Fine Threads, Alive, Bahari, Dairy Queen, 700 Wines and Spirits, Sandy's, Clarkson, Island Luck, Starbucks and Lowe's Pharmacy, plus Marco's Pizza and Lorraine. Southwest Plaza, what a wide array of stores. Southwest Plaza, stop by today and explore.
It's time to upgrade the way you enjoy at-home entertainment. Alive Fiber is here. Enjoy all your favorite channels and streaming apps, all at lightning-fast internet speeds with affordable bundles, and it's only a click away. Visit www.alivefiber.com to sign up now. Stay connected, live your life. It's good to be alive.
It is time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. The Bahamas has experienced a 50% growth in visitors from the Canadian market as geopolitical tensions change the habits of Canadian tourists. That's according to Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism Chester Cooper, who's speaking during a mission to Canada. The Ministry of Tourism is capitalizing on a shift in Canadian travel from the U.S. to other places in the Americas, including the Bahamas. Cooper said in an interview with Tourism Today that the current mission to Canada will focus on Ottawa, Halifax, and Calgary, after already beating a trail through Toronto and Montreal. Bahamian straw vendors on Ocean Key will have access to MSC Cruises and Explora Journeys guests on MSC's island destination Ocean Key, MSC Marine Reserve, as MSC begins the process of reestablishing a straw market on the island. In a statement, Ocean Key MSC Marine Reserve welcomed back 20 vendors from Bimini in the reestablishment process, with vendors be finalized. President of the Straw Business Persons Society, Rebecca Small, says she is tired and frustrated over the number of fights happening in the straw market due to crowding and lack of tourist spending. Small telling Guardian Business that she was frustrated that the government doesn't listen, saying, quote, "This country is so political, so if the majority says this is what works for us, but the political person who they want says don't listen to the majority, do what we want instead, they're going to go with the minority." That's what the frustration, the arguments have escalated. That's why, because so no money is making. Small says lack of spending from cruise ship passengers, despite all the promotion that would have been lucrative for vendors after the construction of the cruise port. You can read more about her concerns in today's Guardian Business section. And Bahamian software developer saying his company's expansion throughout the Caribbean is going well and progress has been made in Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago. The company expects to begin onboarding clients by the end of the year. Chief Executive of Plato Alpha, Duran Humes, telling Guardian Business that he's traveling to Jamaica next week to meet up with prospective business partners and clients for the company's Tri-Block Human Resources platform. Details on that in today's Guardian Business section. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Tuesday. Market movers: Consolidated Water Ants closing at 662. Emira Incorporated closing at 1177, up 6 cents. The BISX All-Share Index closing at 3,063.31, up 0.02. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And that's going to do it for us today. Again, I wanted to get into this story. If we have time, we'll do it tomorrow. But woman who set up boyfriend to be robbed, sentenced to 7.5 years after the Court of Appeal resentenced a woman who set up her boyfriend to be robbed. It is a disturbing story and very sad. But read it in today's Guardian. And if we have time again, we'll talk about it tomorrow. But that is it for us today. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great day, everybody. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green next.
Don't wait for a storm to arrive. Stock up on hurricane supplies, make home repairs, purchase a generator, and more this hurricane season with a Fidelity personal loan. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
The Paint Depot for interior and exterior paint, material and supplies, automotive, marine and industrial, Rust-Oleum, color wheel, joint compounds, sealers, and much more. We are your distributor for automotive art colors. We have pressure washers, ladder rentals, and accessories. Select any color and we'll mix it and deliver it to you. Family Island orders are welcome with bank transfers. Get your free quote today. Free delivery to the mailboats, homes, and businesses too. The Paint Depot, number 151 Mount Royal Avenue. Open Monday to Saturday, 7:30 to 5.